Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Good morning and welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. It is January 26, 2023. I'm your host, Simon Grunewald, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys? I think we just sang a tritone, just the dreaded tritone without even trying. We perfectly synchronized.
I think we just invented the Halo theme music.
Look out, dude. Look out, Justin Tucker.
And Timberlake. Coming for all you Justins.
Timberlake, Tucker, any of you who think you got pipes, we're coming for you. But only the Justins.
Yeah.
Trudeau, I know you find yourself a singer in the shower. We're coming for you.
I'm for you.
Yeah, don't get too confident.
The coup is on.
Craig said, just done shoveling in time for the show. Warm me up with your words, fellas. Fire.
That's our specialty. Microwave.
I hope that did it.
Oven.
More fire.
Fire, microwave, heat oven, more fire.
An
Simon,
iron that's been
you
plugged
are
in for a
just-
while.
You're unstoppable, Simon.
Fire's pretty hot. It doesn't get
With-
much hotter than fire.
I see. With fire improv,
Lava?
with that first improv of fire, I was like, wow, where does he go from here? Where does he go from
There's no room to go up.
There's no room to go up. And then you brought more fire. Wow.
Wow.
Dude, holy
You just live at the top. You
I don't
stay
mean
at
to
the
make
top, you live at the top.
I don't mean to make a bad pun here, but holy smokes.
Oh. Stay at the top, live at the top. Words to live by.
Fuego.
We got Tommy in the chat said, all this talk about Tom Brady, his chances of playing are slimmer than shady. With 375 million waiting from Fox, his head would have to be filled with rocks. What's up, Tommy? Good morning, my friend.
Tommy.
Morning, partner.
Makes a very good point. And the interesting thing is that a lot of people have been talking about is that the job that he would be lined up for is Greg Olson's. Now, Greg Olson came out, did a year of broadcasting. It went okay. Then he kind of went back to play for the Panthers. This time around, he came back. I don't know about you guys. I think personally he's been doing a great job. So kind of puts them in an interesting spot where neither of those guys. So for those that don't know, there's two jobs in the broadcast booth. There's the play-by-play, and then there's the color commentator. Play-by-play is a totally different and very difficult job, which no former players really do it. And then color commentator is what Tony Romo does. You just talk about the game. You really, Greg Olson kind of has the one job for Brady. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think they give Brady the big shot right away, or would he have to start off on some of the lesser games or work his way up?
I think they give Brady the shot right away.
I think so too.
And I think it comes down to name value. Greg Olson, fantastic player, excellent career. He's no Tom Brady. Like Greg Olson does not hit the same as Tom Brady.
No, I don't think anyone really does, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not really another football name you could put in that booth that would carry the same weight as Tom Brady's name.
Bill
So
Belichick.
I'm with you, Jay. Well, no, Bill Belichick, no one would tune into that broadcast. They'd be,
And
they'd be like,
yep.
on to Cincinnati.
Could you imagine being in how many times during that broadcast would he just absolutely obliterate whoever's sitting next to him?
It's like, you idiot. Why would you say that?
Probably via silence. It would just be like Bill would be like, he would just be like, let's enjoy this play in silence.
He only speaks up on punts. He's entirely silent. They're just trying to pull words out of him, and he's like, "Oh, that was a beauty."
That would be
after a
so
punt.
that'd be so refreshing. Bill would be like, let's just all watch football in silence. But then like after a really good punt, he'd talk about long snappers for 20 minutes and they would be like, like, dude,
It'd be in commercial. He'd still somehow be narrating over about long snappers.
it's halftime, Bill. That punt was in the first quarter.
Bill, it's literally we didn't get to any of the halftime show because you wouldn't shut up about that long snapper. He's like, hey, we talk about the important stuff here. Craig in the chat said Brady can't handle G-Rag if he comes for his job. You don't mess with the seventh floor crew.
I actually tweeted about that the other day. I was like, I remember a dude calling himself Third Leg Greg, and now that guy is calling a nationally broadcasted playoff game. Funny how that happened.
Did he really say that?
Dude, they had a rap that was he went to Miami, I think it was, and he was on one of those like crazy Miami teams. And they put out like a freestyle rap that was like him, Ed Reed, like a ton of like future NFL players. And it's actually pretty decent, but for some reason Greg Olsen gets in there and starts dropping bars too. It's like all these like crazy defensive backs and then the whitest dude.
I didn't know this. Apparently, Greg Olsen went to Notre Dame for 2 weeks and then left and went to Miami.
I did not know that either.
Before he ended up in Miami. Also, Craig said "Not Safe for Work" song. In case anybody was wondering, that
I'll say. I think I just dropped the one bar you're allowed to say, and it's talking about dogs.
And Craig said, "Even for your work." Yeah.
We
will not be playing that one. And Jolly Rancher said, "Happy Thursday, FYF. Happy Thursday, Mom. Welcome in."
Good morning, Mama Grudeveld.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Guys, it is that time of morning. I hope everybody watching brought a snack, brought something to eat. You could even call it breakfast. If you brought your own breakfast, we brought everything else. We got the news. We got the stories. We got the topics on this January 26th morning. And most of all, we've got the beans.
Beans.
John Luke, what kind of beans you got this morning?
Frijoles.
Spanish beans.
IGG.
What about you, Coop?
I've got these tropical beans. They are pineapple and
pineapple beans?
Honeydew. Pineapple and honeydew. Keith was late today. A little peek behind the curtain for y'all. So I didn't know what to do. And I just started making a increasingly more elaborate breakfast. So I had...
It's your way of like coping with uncertainty. Is making an increasingly complex breakfast.
If he doesn't hurry, I'm going to make a hollandaise sauce.
Yeah. So I made...
Keith, where the hell were you? I made a frittata.
English muffin with peanut butter, chocolate milk, a coffee, pineapple, honeydew, blueberries.
Oh my God, you've eaten an entire resort buffet.
Blueberries and half of a clementine.
Holy cow.
Half of a clementine. Why'd you go in for the extra half a clementine?
Because my wife was eating a clementine. I said, give me half of that.
Okay, this is pure greed. I see.
Yeah, it was not my idea, but it was a great idea. So I
he just stuck his hand out and said, "My clementine."
Me. I gotta go.
Ripped half of it off.
Keith isn't here.
She's taking a bite and he just snacks and goes,
and runs away.
Ran away. And then right before I went in,
Komodo dragons up to the room.
Right before I went, I poked my head in my office. And I said, "Keith is missing, you know." And then just
she's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Slam the door. But yeah, so breakfast, pretty aggressive breakfast today for show. What are you guys in the chat having today? What are you munching on, Simon's mom?
Key-reg.
Let us know what you got for breakfast, guys.
Yeah, let us know.
And I figured we'd start off BYOB talking a little bit about what Tommy was talking about with the other half of his statement. We talked a bit about Tom Brady. Now we're getting reports. Ian Rappaport came out yesterday and said that he thinks it's most likely that Sean Payton does not end up in one of the empty head coaching spots and that he returns to Fox next year. That he's sitting there with a Fox contract just waiting for him, and he doesn't see a fit with any of the teams left here sitting. I feel like we've all just been assuming Sean Payton makes his return, but he doesn't have any second interviews lined up, even though it's expected he gets one with Denver. Coop, do you think we see Sean Payton head coaching a team next year? Do you agree with Mr. Ian Rappaport that he's going to be back in the booth next year or back at Fox?
So, I mean, the thing with that is that these broadcast jobs pay really well, and being an NFL coach is crazy stressful, right? So that's why the asking price across the board seems to be pretty high. The Saints themselves said they set the bar at 2 first-round picks, which they're not going to get. But what that tells everybody is that a first round pick probably isn't enough. We're talking maybe a first and like a fourth or fifth or something like that. They're basically telling everybody it's more than a first. All right. So that's that side. And then Sean Payton's camp came out and was like, oh, by the way, you got to pay me 25 mil. So now it's like 2 firsts and 25 mil. My goodness, you get DeAndre Hopkins for that. You can get DeAndre Hopkins for less than that, right? Like he plays on the field. So I don't know if teams are going to go for it, but if a team will go for it, I bet it would be John Elway and those Broncos, because they have just about everything in place, and their narrative is that Nathaniel Hackett screwed it all up. Like they have the line, they have good wide receivers, they have the quarterback, defense is pretty good, Justin Simmons, that old crew. So if any team is in a position to do it, it would be the Broncos. Some of these other teams, I don't know if I would do it unless the caveat was like that he's like, I promise you I won't retire before like 5 years.
I promise.
I promise.
Like, how
I promise. I won't do it. My name's Sean Payton, and I won't retire.
I have my fingers crossed all the time.
Honor.
But now, how many?
Coop.
If you were gonna, so let me ask you guys a question then. If you were gonna pay let's say you're gonna pay a first and a third and 25 million, like how many years minimum would you want Sean Payton to hang around?
I want a Super Bowl.
Infinity.
I don't care if it's 1 year.
A Super Bowl, like I think would be.
If I pay Sean Payton that amount of money,
true.
I'm paying him that to come in and win a Super Bowl. Whether it takes 1 year, 5 years, you pay him that and he wins you a Super Bowl. That's what that's saying. You're saying I'm going all in, and this coach is going to make a difference. That's a missing piece.
Pretty good range you guys created. 1 year. Simon says 1 year. JL says infinity.
Infinity, yeah.
It's called the Coop Special.
So somewhere in between there.
We learned from you.
Well, I said 1 to 1 million. Okay, a million. 1 is closer to 1 million than 1 million is to infinity. All right,
Simon. At what point are you giving up? If Sean Payton hasn't won a Super Bowl after 5 years, is that it for you? Are you moving on after paying that amount?
I think there's a lot of different factors there, right? If that team is playing in 5 consecutive conference championship games, no, probably not. It becomes a meme. You're like, what the hell? Why can't Sean Payton get us past the conference championship round? But
a bunch of memes of him just going around like this.
Exactly. But if you're making it there year after year, you don't move on. Now, if after 5 years we've made the playoffs 1 time and I'm looking at that, then yeah, you move on. That's where I'm sitting. But I agree with you, Coop. He's got a nice job now. Like he's set up nice with Fox. And I think this just comes down to he's not going to leave that comfort for something that he doesn't think is the right situation. Like he's waiting for the situation that he wants to return, because I feel like he's a pretty desirable coach and he's got some choice whenever it comes down to which team he ends up with. He's the hottest name.
An interesting tweet that came out yesterday. I'm trying to find it here, but it essentially was talking about there not being really a market for Sean Payton. One of the NFL insiders is talking about there not being a ton of interest, or maybe as much interest as Sean Payton would have thought. And so this might also be from the team's end. Teams are not really willing to pay that price, or they're not really being enough demand for Sean Payton.
I think Coop brought up a great point earlier that this team also has to be in the right position to bring Sean Payton in. If you're spending that, it's one, you have to have those resources available, and that has to be the best use of them. You can't be a team with a ton of holes like the Panthers, right? Like that Panthers team, even though they have an open head coaching job, they can't afford to send those picks away to bring Sean Payton in. And then you've got Sean Payton in one of the worst rosters in the league. Like that's not what you're looking for. You need to have the picks available, and already built roster ready to go. Plug Sean Payton in, let him do his work. If you're going to spend that amount of money.
I mean, people did kind of point out early on in this process, people were joking like, oh, Sean Payton doing a little bit of campaigning for himself. You know what I mean? Like it's his camp, because you don't find out information about this kind of stuff unless his camp is dropping it. You know what I mean? Because It's not like there's a locker room to leak information out of. Like, because that's kind of how rumors get out otherwise, unless you're leaking them yourself. In this case, who the hell would be leaking information on his behalf if it's not him? So all this, it's like the Saints have been leaking about like, oh, we want the 2 picks, but just the fact that he might come back, that has to come from him. So it does sound like he's kind of campaigning for himself to get back in there. And I imagine he, like anybody, you want to be wanted. So he's probably kind of drumming it up a little bit. hamming it
Yeah, I
up.
brought this up a couple months ago. It's like mid-season, we started getting reports of Sean Payton going around saying that he was interested in coaching again, or that he might be interested. But it wasn't from the perspective of him. It was the perspective of other teams, and it was very clearly him going around various outlets and talking and putting that out into the universe.
Do you think he's been pulling a Kevin Durant with burner accounts, just being like, "What about Sean Payton? Maybe he's one of the
Sean
best
Payton
coaches."
to the Cardinals? Question mark.
That'd be
Aw.
nice.
What? That's a cardinal being confused. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
We got Craig in the chat saying, "Do you know that song? Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine." Oh yeah, I do. Oh my
Banger, straight up banger.
darling, oh my darling, oh my
darling
darling Clementine.
Nailed it.
And he said,
Here
Craig also said, "I fast until around lunch, so nothing so far over here."
There you go, Craig. That's supposed to be good. Like
how fast?
The fasting stuff, that I feel like it goes back and forth, but the general consensus right now is that it's good for you. It's like coffee, where every other day it's either good for you or bad for you, right?
Or chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Yeah.
Here's
One glass of wine.
Any health advice that isn't just, hey, eat a little better and maybe not so much, is too much. It takes it a step too far. Anything where you're trying to follow crazy rules or anything like that aren't medical, like if you can't eat milk, then
unless
fine.
You're standing on one foot,
right? Like medical, like you're allergic to something unless you're standing on one foot,
right?
We got Tommy in the chat saying he's having an everything bagel, and my mom's having peanut butter toast.
Ooh,
She's a peanut butter car toast. You ever had car toast?
It's because she's in the car. That's
car
just where
toast.
she's eating it. It changes the flavor profile.
I see.
It truly does. So. Yeah. Peanut butter in the car is a dangerous game.
Also, Tommy saying Sean Payton coached Drew Brees his whole career. Is he really that good, or was it just Brees? Coop, do you think Brees is buoying his coaching resume?
I mean, Brees wasn't that good with the Chargers. Checkmate.
Checkmate, atheists.
That's right, dude. Brees, yeah. I mean, that was crazy that the Chargers at one point had both Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers on the roster, and they did not win a Super Bowl.
I guess having both is almost like having one.
Yeah. You're gonna throw to each other?
Maybe, dude.
No, you throw it this time. No, Phil, it's your turn.
Worked for me in NFL
Drew.
Blitz. Worked for me in NFL Blitz. Just saying.
God, I missed that game.
Yeah, but you're right. He was a good quarterback. It could be just that, dude. In which case, Tommy, if that was the case, that it was all just Drew Brees, then Sean Payton is very smart for going out and saying, "How about you give me $25 million?" Because if he screws that up, right? If he screws that job up, guess what? Still got $25 million.
It's pretty nice.
Pretty nice, dude. I'll
pretty
screw up a
good
whole
strategy.
organization. I'll screw up a whole organization for $1 million. I'll screw up a whole organization for like, I don't know, give me like 30 grand.
I'll do a terrible job for $10,000. I mean,
For sure. Absolutely.
I would do it. You want me to coach an NFL team? How long, if you were made head coach of an NFL team week 1 in NFL season, like something happened, Irsay got confused and accidentally called you instead of Jeff Saturday. Irsay called you. So Jim Irsay calls you up and says, "I need you to be the head coach." How long do you think you make it until you get fired? Like just straight up
A
fired.
half of a day.
Probably lose the locker room pretty
When they
quick.
say, "What do we do?" Practice. Get out there.
Where's my offensive coordinator?
We're running the 4-3-2-3-4 offense here.
If I
Spider
was,
banana, Y monkey, break.
if I was coach,
And
you
they're
guys,
like, "Coach, you're not doing the huddle." I'm like, oh,
Omaha.
okay.
if I was the coach, you guys be the coordinators.
Oh God.
Which one's
Screwed.
which?
Let's see. I think Simon, you'd be offensive coordinator, and JL, you would be assistant to the assistant coach.
And you're calling
I was
defensive
born for
plays.
that role.
But yeah, you would be, that would be your title, would be assistant. I would go Belichick style. So you would be the assistant to the assistant coach, but you would have all the responsibilities of both a defensive coordinator and the special teams coordinator.
And the Lions are paying my salary.
Analyze, pay your stats. Yeah, so you would have all the responsibilities, but your title would be like gopher.
And you have to wipe Bill Belichick's dog's butt every time it poops.
Somebody's got to.
Someone's got to.
It's not going to wipe itself. Like, that's ridiculous.
Wipe a dog butt.
You have to.
Depends on the dog.
It's part
Or
of the
so
job.
I've heard. Craig said, I do want you three to coach an NFL team. Split the pay, combine the minds.
Combine the minds.
The three of us show up in one overlarge suit to coach an NFL team. Hello, everyone. It is us, the Front Yard Fantasy Coach.
Speaking of dog butts, Brett, how about that for a segue? Brett Favre has been a bit of a dog butt recently with everything going on.
It's an understatement.
He's been a bit of a dog butt for sure. And the Mississippi auditor that they called in. So anyone that doesn't know, there's been a series of scandals where Brett Favre is basically really tight with the Mississippi governor and was doing a number of inappropriate things, one of which included being able to get money siphoned from the Mississippi state government to build a new gym for the school where his daughter plays volleyball, right? And the everything's still ongoing with that, but the Mississippi auditor that's in charge of looking at all the books came out and said this Brett Favre welfare scandal is the largest public fraud case in the history of the state.
I believe it. I mean, like, you look at the numbers, and it was in all. So the former Mississippi head of the Department of Human Services was pled guilty to fraud and conspiracy charges because there were more than $70 million in welfare funds that were misused. And Brett Favre, how he gets tied in is Coop, just like he said, the $4 million in funds that went to building a volleyball center at his alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi, where his daughter was. So $4 million in welfare funds from the state of Mississippi, then siphoned off to build that at his alma mater after speaking with that person. It's robbery of the taxpayers' money. Like legitimately, just no concern. It blows my mind, the willingness of people to go in and just steal money from others, because that's what he's doing.
Money that's supposed to go to the poor, instead it went to Brett Favre's daughter.
Yeah, not cool.
Brett Favre's daughter, yeah.
Oops,
Not cool, Brett Favre.
So
dog
cool.
butt. Dog butt,
butt.
that's an understatement.
Brett Favre is our dog butt of the.
How do we get to Brett Favre from that?
Because he's
Coop
being
said,
a dog.
you
He's
know
being
who's
huge.
being a dog butt.
He's being a huge dog butt.
Okay. All right. I see.
Yeah, get that laugh track queued up. Brett Favre is our dog butt of the week. Fraud. $70 million fraud case hurting the poor.
Hilarious.
Brett Favre, you're an inconsiderate asshole, and
You're a jerk.
hope you go to prison.
Should we make that a regular? Should we make that a regular segment? Our dog butt of the week.
Dog butt of the week.
And we always end it by wishing them prison.
Yeah, we talk about a very
Enjoy prison.
we talk about the dog butt of the week, where we talk about a very serious topic, and the whole segment is riddled with fake laugh tracks. On a less serious topic, though, I do have a little bit of a funny one. You want me to let in the mood a little bit with something cool?
No.
Brett Favre's going to prison. No. No. So
they let them wear Wranglers in there?
Bengals fans been kind of a fun fan group. They're not scared to be charitable at times. They're also not scared to be ruthless at times. In this case, they've decided that since Joe Burrow's kind of had Patrick Mahomes' number 3-0 against his Kansas City Chiefs, all week they've been calling the Chiefs stadium, Arrowhead Stadium. They're now calling it Burrowhead Stadium. Do you think something like that might come back to bite them?
I don't think that's going to have an impact on the game, but if they lose, of course everyone's going to mock the hell out of them, right? Like whenever you talk like that, you're setting yourself up either to celebrate with a little bit more pizzazz. You know what I mean? Like you're making a bet. You're saying, I bet I'm going to win, and if I don't, here's the stakes. You get to mock the hell out of me for saying Burrowhead. I like it. I like teams getting kind of chirpy and playful before games like this. That's fun.
What do you think, JL? Is that You on board with that?
They're bringing down that bad themselves, that bad luck. It's a big mistake. Big mistake. You don't want to taunt the luck gods like this.
Nah.
It's like we've seen it time and time again.
Now, I will say
Joe
this,
Burrow
dude.
ain't scared of no gods.
Arrowhead Stadium, great stadium name. I love when a stadium has like an actual name. You know what I mean? Like Arrowhead Stadium or the Garden or the Ralph. Like even if you're gonna have like
MetLife.
the Broncos did it.
M&T Bank.
That's what the M&T Bank. Come on. My dad used to work for them. But the
Mercedes-Benz.
yeah, like it makes it more memorable. And even if you're going to slap the logo on there, you do what the Broncos do. Like the Broncos Stadium, they kept the name kind of.
Nissan.
Empower Field at Mile High. I'll take that. Do you guys even know? Do you guys even know what the Bengals Stadium is?
Bengals?
The Bengals Stadium.
Oh no, I did know this because I just was there.
Come on, baby, you got it.
I know it. It's
Tiger Stripe Stadium.
It's so bland that I could have said it to you 5 minutes ago. You wouldn't know it.
It starts with James. It's James.
So that's what it used to be.
Marvin Lewis.
It starts with a P.
Pains.
Don't say penis.
It's penis. It's
Penis Stadium.
So it's Paycor Stadium. But
what is it?
It used to be Paul Brown Stadium, which is nice.
Paul Brown. I was close with the P.
You were close with the P. But now it's Paycor Stadium, which is lame. Just like,
Paycor?
Paycor, right? The most generic. I don't even know what they do. I imagine it's like payroll or something. I have no idea what Paycor does. But it sucks, man. It sucks. You got to keep...
Paycor, you know how like fashion trends are sometimes defined as like nature core, where like it's like hardcore in a specific area. Like I'm imagining like, what is Paycor? Or is it with a P?
It's with a P. Paycor. Paycor. I have no idea what they do, to be honest. But yeah, it's HR and payroll solutions. So lame, dude. So lame. But yeah, it's like what about the Steelers stadium? Their stadium was
Heinz.
It was Heinz, but now Heinz was like an iconic one. Now it's Acrisure.
Acrisure, that's it. That's right.
So lame. Three Rivers. Tommy's got it because the Three Rivers there. Yeah, every stadium should have a nickname, and we should just ignore these corporate overlords.
Boo! Down with the corporate overlords. Name stadiums fun things like welcome to the Metal Dome.
Yeah,
like M&T Bank.
Like
Murder and Tackles. That's what M&T stands for.
Murder and Tackles. Welcome to Baltimore.
The Death Star. That was a good one with the Raiders in Oakland.
You just rename that stadium the Death Star. I'm sure George Lucas would have no problem with it, right?
The Championship House.
the round one.
The house.
No, you come up with a name. Come
one.
Up with a name for the
The
new
square one.
Oh,
Square one.
Craig said, "What if it was FYF Stadium? Would that be okay?"
The one with the hat.
It would be because it would benefit us, but I would hope that everyone else out there would trash it. Like I would like that we would get like I don't know that we'd have to pay for that, but we would, I don't know. I'm not
like I'm fine being the corporate overlord, but it doesn't make me hate the corporate overlords any less. I'm just comfortable with hating myself.
Those bastards. Even me. We're all bastards. Especially me.
And most of all, this bastard.
Me, the worst. The worst of them all. Now smash that like button and hit subscribe.
We were talking about the Burrowhead thing, and Justin Reed had something to say when asked about it. I saw this from Cody Tapp on Twitter. Justin Reed said, I think we all saw it. We are going to let our play on the field speak for us.
Justin Reed always has something to say, it seems.
Hey, well, his time this time was, I ain't got nothing to say. Watch me. Like, that was what he had to say this time.
Last time what he had to say was, I don't know who T. Higgins is. Remember that? He was like, they got that guy over there. What's his name? like so disrespectful.
Before that game, though, we got some good news yesterday. Patrick Mahomes was a full participant at practice yesterday. So we saw him all the way out there. There were questions about his ankle. I'm curious. I haven't checked yet today if this moved the line back in favor of the Chiefs, because I know it was bouncing back and forth there.
I'll look.
No, it moved it a little bit down. It is now the Bengals favored by 1. instead of by 1.5. So it opened Chiefs favored by 1.5, flipped to Bengals favored by 1.5. Now the Bengals are favored by 1. Do you think that's related to? It seems like a small movement for it to be related to Patrick Mahomes' ankle. This seems maybe like it's more related to the money coming in. But if Patrick Mahomes logs another full practice, do you guys expect this line to switch back to being in favor of the Chiefs?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I was looking at an overlap of these two teams, and they're very similar in terms of pretty much everything, like, pass defense, run defense. But the Bengals have been letting up more points than the Chiefs. I don't know. For me, I think I'm going to bet some money on the Chiefs. How do you guys feel?
I think this is one of the most evenly matched games that we're going to see all year. These two teams are both high-powered, explosive offenses that really could. I think this could be a very exciting game to watch. So I'm not surprised that it's going to be. I think it's going to continue to switch as we get closer to the game.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. I think the Chiefs are going to win. But yeah, it's like both teams are good. Both teams have scored a lot of points, crazy passing offense, and pretty good rushing defense. Then on the flip side, not that great at rushing, not that great passing defense, and the Chiefs are letting up fewer points allowed. So pretty evenly matched.
All the words you just said sound like the perfect recipe for a really fun playoff game.
That's
good rushing defenses, high-powered passing attacks, low-powered rushing attacks, poor passing defenses. Like, sign me up.
That's why
Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be slinging it, baby.
I'm surprised by the 47-point over-under. I figured it'd be like 55. Like, I figured it'd be high. Maybe there's I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I'm willing to bet the Chiefs and the over. That's where I live right now. And I rarely bet the over. I am one of the I'm a pet. Usually I'm in favor and fun, but like the reality is that the under hits more often because people love betting the over. But in this case, I'm willing to bet the over. So mark it.
So Tommy here said if the Bengals key in on Kelsey, they should win. They have more talent on offense and a better defense. He's going the exact opposite. Bengals and the under.
Bengals and the under. Yeah, Lucra me, brother. Hit me up on Lucra. Sauce McFloss on there. What do you want to put on it, Tommy? Your call. I'm anywhere from 1 to 1 million.
Anywhere from 1 to 1 million.
Anywhere from 1 to infinity.
He's going to put a tomato on it. You know he is.
I'm not eating any more tomatoes on this show, Tommy.
You're going to look on there and it's going to say like 372 and you're going to be like, what the hell? That's a weird number. And then you're going to look up your local grocery store and you're going to see the price of one heirloom tomato is exactly 372.
$20. $20, Tommy. You send me it. I'll accept on Lucra app. And for those
I would be so impressed by that.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Simon, you want to give them a quick rundown of what the Lucra app is?
Yeah, it's where Tommy and Coop right now are laying down some cash on something they think is going to happen. But Lucra, they're our sponsors right now, guys. You can download the app using the link right below us on the screen. And it's a place where you can challenge your friends. Throw some real money on the line. It can be like this. You're watching a game together. You think one team's going to win. Your buddy thinks the other team. Throw some cash down. Or you guys have had a couple beers. You're playing some darts late at night. You can throw it down on a game of darts as well in there. So it's games you're playing, games you're watching. You can just bet some money with your friends. Throw it on the Lucra app.
Little darts and farts with your friends.
A little darts and farts with your fart friends.
Exactly, dude. Instead of calling each other idiots and morons and dummies over and over and over again, you could just settle it once and for all. A little bit of Lucra.
Yeah.
What is the rake? Hal asked. That's a good question. On the $5 bet that we did, there was no rake.
No rake.
But
Craig in here said, so does using the app end up being lucrative for you? Well, it has been for Coop so far against me. Coop just keeps taking all my beans. He's a bean stealer is what he is.
Beaned up right now, dude.
Beaned up. Guys, we were talking a little bit about head coaching searches earlier, and I saw a report from Ian Rappaport that the Panthers have narrowed their coaching search down to 2 potential coaches. Steve Wilkes and Frank Reich are the last 2 potential head coaches for the Carolina Panthers. John Luke, what do you think about these coaches? Do you have a strong preference towards one or the other? Do you think the Panthers have narrowed their search down to good potential candidates?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's hard to know exactly if Steve Wilkes can succeed as a head coach long term. I mean, we've seen him be a head coach before. Defensive minded coach. And yeah, I don't know that I'll be that excited if the Panthers go Steve Wilks route. But I don't dislike Steve Wilks. I think he's a decent enough coach. Frank Reich, I think, is a good coach. I think he's a good coach who was dealt somewhat of a bad hand in Indianapolis. But it'll be interesting to see him if he moves to another team. I think it'll be interesting to see what moves they make. Which do you guys think is most likely to get hired? Which head coach here?
Well, I think Frank Reich might have more than one potential landing spot on the table. Like, I don't think it's just going to be Carolina who wants him there. And I'm not sure Carolina is the most attractive position for him. So they've narrowed it down to 2. I'm not convinced if they offer Frank Reich the job that Frank Reich takes the Carolina job. I think he might be interested in the Arizona job. Know what I mean? Like, I think that's a job that could entice him over. Maybe there's a little bit more for him to work with there. And if he gets offered both those jobs, I think he takes the Arizona one. So just because there's a chance both of them get selected, and I think there's a chance Frank Reich gets offered elsewhere, I'm going to say it's more likely that Steve Wilks becomes the head coach. And it seems like the players like him. Like, it seems like the players like that coach. And even if he's not the long-term solution, if they can't get Frank Reich, if they can't get one of these big names, keep the guy that your players like while you're rebuilding. See if it works. See if he can become the main guy. And then if he doesn't, you move on in a couple of years.
Yeah, I like that because it's easier to go that route than go the other way. And it feels better on fans and players than saying, like, to bring somebody else in and then have to come back to Steve Wilks, and then you sit there and say, oh, we had this guy here the whole time and we weren't giving him the shot. Like, give him the shot now. And Hal, to answer your questions, the rate, so they take 5% from what the winner gets. And yes, it does keep track of your stats against your quote unquote friends. And not only does it keep track of that, but it seems that whoever you bet against the most, it puts a little sword next to their name and calls them your nemesis. For instance, mine says there's this guy on here named FYF Simon that I'm 1-0 against all time, and he is my nemesis.
Yeah.
He is my nemesis.
I'm coming for you. And I saw Hal ask, Wilks is an offensive guy, right? No, he is a defensive guy.
Defensive coach,
he's a defensive guy.
Based on who the Cardinals have been interviewing, it seems like they want a defensive coach, right? A defensive minded coach. That seems to be the direction they're moving in.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Yeah. So,
we got Albert in here saying, good morning, everyone. What's up, Albert?
What up, Albert?
Cheers.
Good morning, my friend.
And then Dustin saying, morning, buds.
Morning, bud.
Morning, Dustin.
Buds.
Thanks for
Where
popping
buds,
in.
Morning,
We're buds, you're buds. We're all buds here.
Earbuds, airbuds.
We haven't talked about Airbud in
at least 6 days.
Now we got to get
But I am so sorry.
We got to get our 3 hours of Airbud talk in today.
Did you guys finish watching Airbud Pup Star yet?
Not yet.
The American Idol version of Airbud with the mouths superimposed in on the talking dogs.
Is that real?
It's like human mouths put in on the dogs, and they do an entire movie of dogs talking.
Oh no!
Well, stay tuned because we'll be doing a later on in this show.
Bro, there's a ton of.
It's too bad even for me. I watched like the first 9 minutes of it and turned it off.
Dude, there are like 9 Pup Star movies already. There's Pup Star World Tour, Pup Star Christmas, Pup Star Better Together. Oh no.
It's a fair that one sounds good.
Yeah, and Hal said, do you fellas have a good idea on how to turn your show into a drinking game? Every time JL mutes himself, take a sip. Every time we talk about Airbud, take a sip.
Every time Coop talks about tight ends or John and Pemba, take a shot.
Take a shot.
Be hammered, bro.
Every time I mention a bowel movement of any sort, take a shot.
Take a shot.
And every time
you'd be dead.
Every time we do an impression of any sort, finish your drink.
Every time
the FYF drinking game.
Every time we sing, make a mojito, and you have to muddle the mint and do it the right way.
Is that what it's called? That's the verb, muddling the
muddle like
mint?
this.
Muddle, yeah.
Muddle. What are you doing? Muddling.
Just muddling up. Get muddled up.
My mint. And every time an animal noise is made and then repeated by at least one other person, Coop, similar to yours, you have to make a whiskey sour, but you have to use egg white. You have to froth it up with some egg white.
Get it
frothed up.
Get it
Fresh egg white too. None of that pre-carton stuff.
I know we're having a lot of fun here, guys, but I have some bad news. Field Yates tweeted that while the Broncos are still searching for a head coach, interim head coach Jerry Rosberg has been let go and will not be part of the coaching staff going forward.
What
The
is going to
time
happen
king.
to the time?
The time king.
The timeout
thrown.
king. That's what sucks about being elevated to head coach. It's like he couldn't be like, can I just have my old time job back? They're like, nope.
It's like
What-
Flowers for
you
Algernon.
stumped
Did you
me.
guys ever read that?
No, I did not. I heard it pretty
Flowers
sad.
for Algernon is the short story where they realize they can make a mouse really smart. And so they then try it on a human, but then they watch the mouse decline rapidly and die and realize the human that they made really smart is also going to decline rapidly and die. And that's what I feel like when they elevate some of these coaches up into this head coach position. He wasn't ready for it. They just put him up in there, and now he's going to get fired. He is Flowers for Algernon.
Whoa, spoilers, dude.
That's been out for 150 years.
Spoilers, dog. No, the book came out in 1959. It's hardly even 80 years old.
Hardly even 80 years old.
Hardly even. If you just read one sentence about it on the internet, it'll tell you that's exactly what it's about.
Spoilers, bro. It was on my list, dude. That was on my Libby.
Also, Andrew said
requested
something.
to
I don't
borrow
know if a
that.
300+ page book is a short story. Well, maybe you're just not on the reading level.
Yeah,
Andrew.
Why don't you get a little more proficient, Elmquist?
The short story epic.
You want to see how fast I can read? I'll show you. I'm going to read a Percy Jackson book right here.
Wow.
Yeah. And then,
was fast.
and then spoil it.
Done.
right,
Whoa.
Oh, you want me to read the sequel?
Now,
Did you scream every time? Do you have to scream every time? Is
Well,
that
that's
part
me
of it?
reading every word of the book out loud. Is what that is.
now spoil it for us.
Tell us what happened.
Percy Jackson's dad is Poseidon. I'm so sorry.
Dude, have you guys ever, speaking of being able to read books really fast, have you guys ever heard of a guy named Kim Peek?
Is that the guy who can read a page with each eye?
Yes. He unfortunately passed away in 2009. This guy not only could he read a page with each eye, but he had a legit like photographic encyclopedic memory where you could go to this guy and be like, here's the day I was born, and he would just rattle off headlines like from that day. Or you can give the guy like your hometown and he knows like the latitude and longitude. Like this guy was he was a human encyclopedia, Kim Peek. But he would open a book and read the left page with the left eye and the right page with the right eye.
That's absurd.
And remember 99% of it.
Incomprehensible to me to be able to do that.
Yeah, he was wild.
Sometimes I read the same page 4 times. Sometimes I read it and I'm like, I didn't pay attention at all. Let me start over. Then I start at the beginning and I'm like, what am I going to have for dinner while I'm actively reading? Get to the end. Yet again, I have no idea what happened on that page. So let's start it over.
Yeah.
I learned how to fix that, Simon, in high school. If I listen to the audiobook and read the book, then I can cover almost all my bases when I get distracted. Because if I start drifting off, I'm still listening. So I'm still absorbing. And then I come back and I follow on the page. Works every time.
You have such like Zoomer level ADD that you have to brute force information into your head through every sense.
Yeah.
Willpower is a
also
myth.
smell the
Hack
book.
everything.
Smell, yeah. Get that library smell.
And he chews gum that he's taken a pen and written the entire text of each chapter on a single stick of gum.
If
that one as well.
If that were the case, then Pete Carroll would be the Kim Peek of gum reading.
He's so smart. He'd be like Wanda at the end of WandaVision. Yeah. She's just like meditating and reading.
He'd probably
Pete Carroll's just chewing gum, absorbing.
Choose like $30 a game.
Imagine Willy Wonka, but instead of a chocolate factory, it's school, and everything is just about learning. Like the gum that Violet Beauregard took was like the Great Gatsby piece of gum, and she was reading the book like, oh my god, this is incredible, and then all of a sudden she gets hit by a car like in the book instead of getting turned into a blueberry.
Just wait till next week when we do our inventions thing again, and I'm like, how about gum where it's like a book? See if you guys even remember this conversation.
Dustin said, I can fix all your reading problems. Just don't read. I resent that statement. Read. Reading's good for your brain and it's fun.
I feel like nowadays you have to separate like good reading from bad reading. because like I'll go on Twitter and do a lot of reading, but is that good for my brain? Like,
Probably
technically I'm reading, but a lot of it is nonsense reading.
Yeah, I don't think most people who write on there aren't really thinking about it.
Oh no,
it's probably not too helpful.
No, Twitter is just like banging on the keys. If anybody put out a book with the level of thought that they put into just their average tweet, that would be a book I wouldn't want to buy. Then I'm not throwing up there.
Don't throw up.
Yesterday we started. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Joey in the chat said, I come here for fun fantasy football talk, not animal death. Simon is officially a penis.
It's official.
I don't know how those things are related, but
there were rumors.
Simon.
There were rumors floating around that
Thank you
were.
I've been working really hard at it.
That's quite the distinguishment.
Yeah, there were rumors that you were in fact a penis, but I'm glad it's just finally we can put that to bed and it's finally official.
Yeah, now they can go ahead and they can erect that statue of me, and we'll be good to go.
He's erect. Will Smith him. Anytime someone drops a Will Smith laugh, you have to drink it. You have to shotgun a beer. That's part of the drinking game.
It's part of the FYF drinking game.
And if someone repeats it, that beer turns into a Four Loko.
I really want to do FYF bingo, FYF Morning Show bingo, where everybody has bingo cards.
FY Fingo?
FY bingo is exactly what I was thinking.
Tommy,
same page.
Let's call it Flabingo.
Flabingo. That's a way more fun name for it, Simon.
Anytime Tommy disappears from the chat, I feel like he's making something. Like somebody mentioned FYF drinking game or bingo, and Tommy disappeared. My mind's always like, oh boy, here we go. Last time he disappeared from the chat, there was a website that was created. There's a video game that was created.
Video game.
Hogger.
He said playing it now. He's already got the board up and ready.
I play every day, dude. Stay playing Hogger.
And Hal saying they need to sell those cards on the FYF site. That would be funny if we could just like sell bingo cards, get them made.
We're gonna make it happen. As soon as I figure out how to make bingo cards.
Let me call my bingo guy.
You got a bingo guy?
I got a bingo guy.
Does he do flabingo?
He could do flabingo. I don't think he's ever done something quite as extreme, but
be a challenge for him then.
Pink, long neck, flabingo. Tommy said, can we call it dingo? If we mix it together with bingo and call it bingo. That's bingo and dingo mixed together.
Yeah,
Badingo.
Speaking of badingos, it seems that the Colts are actually giving Jeff Saturday a legitimate shot to be the head coach of that team. They brought him in for a second interview. I'm not sure I necessarily remember I feel like teams are being very forthright about their interviews that they're giving people. Like their Twitter accounts, their official Twitter accounts stuff are like, hey, we talked to this guy today. I don't remember that being a huge part of the process in the past. Maybe it's part of some sort of, I know there's been an initiative to be more transparent about the interview process after some of the shenanigans that have gone on and violations of the Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule, of course, being that there's a requirement in the NFL that you need to at least interview one minority coach. So I'm wondering if the teams being more outright on who they're interviewing, who they're not, is related to that, with the Brian Flores lawsuit and certain teams basically hiring guys before they do that. So I wonder if that's part of it. But yeah, I like it. We're getting a lot more information this year, I feel like.
We are. It seems like we're getting a little peek behind the curtain. Now we'll see how much they're actually telling us whenever we see the results of these coaching searches, right? Things could still come out of left field, stuff that hasn't been leaked, because these teams are still going to push things out on purpose and for a reason, right? This information isn't just accidentally getting out whenever it's coming from the teams themselves. So I'm with you, Coop. I think that's the case. We're seeing more. And it probably is related to what you're talking about. There are a lot more eyes on the league and on this hiring process right now, so they're being transparent with it. That being said, they're still in charge of the information that gets put out, and we still could see some craziness, some things coming out of left field that we didn't predict happening.
Yeah, it's nice that, so like you can, for instance, just go to the Vikings Twitter account, and a quick scroll will tell you that they're looking for a defensive coordinator, and they've posted with pictures and like a link. They've interviewed Saints co-defensive coordinator / defensive line coach Ryan Nielsen for their defensive coordinator position. They've interviewed Seahawks associate head coach defensive coordinator Sean Desai, who is a very popular candidate and fills their Rooney Rule requirement. And then they have also interviewed their own assistant head coach, Mike Patine. So, you can kind of pop over there, check it out, see what's going on. I kind of like that. I want more of that. More transparency.
More transparency.
More transparency. More transparency. The fans are marching in the street.
Yes, they are. I like that, Coop. I don't know what I was going to say. I had something to say, and then it just left my head. It's way too early for me.
Coop, where?
Coop, think about it. How?
Coop, and
I would also like to add.
You won that. Guys, Ari Meyer yesterday tweeted out this quote from Deebo Samuel when he is asked about playing in Philadelphia and their environment. He said, "We know it's going to be loud, but no stadium is as loud as ours at the end of the day." Deebo coming in hot.
I mean, Deebo coming in lying. Like, that stadium is not known for being wildly loud. Levi's isn't like, oh my God, it's such a loud stadium. In fact, I think it's known for being the opposite, like not a particularly loud stadium sometimes.
Stadium.
But of course, like, player pumps up his fan base and thinks they're better than another fan base. I'd be more upset if he said, like, yeah, it's they're way louder there than we are. Like he's lying, but he has to. Know what I mean? Like, that's just what you say.
Yeah, we're kind of middle of the pack. That's what they say. I have a list. I have a list of the top 10 loudest stadiums here, based on
that would be a good fantasy feud.
Well, let's kind of do that. Let's just do a quick back and forth real quick. I said quick 3 times. Seattle, oddly, is not number 1. You would think they actually measured the decibels here. Seattle once hit 137.6 decibels during a 2013 game, and it was actually a very famous play when it happened. Do you guys happen to know what play it was?
2013 was right before I was there.
It was the
Beastquake
run against Seattle. So Lumen Field is the name of Seattle's stadium. The Bird Nest.
Lumen.
Used
That's number
to be
2.
CenturyLink.
Number 2, yes.
So these are loudest individual moments, highest volume recorded, not average volume.
I think it is highest recorded. Yeah, highest recorded. So Lumen Field is number 2 on the list. The other one is also very famous. The other one is also very famous for being loud. These are when people say loud stadiums, Seattle and Arrowhead. Arrowhead is one. Arrowhead at 142.2 decibels during a 2014 game. That sound is equivalent to a jet engine.
Wow. A whole jet?
That's
jet.
loud.
Yes. I will have you guys know, I just clicked over to the other broadcast and something happened to my camera. And by other broadcast, I just mean the YouTube channel where our video is playing. And my video was going like this.
That's not good, dude.
It's exactly how it looks right now.
I couldn't hear the audio. It just started. I was like, what the hell? When did that happen?
That actually
I don't remember doing that.
That happens to my camera when we don't get enough likes on YouTube. It just starts getting all like shaky. So if you guys can fix that for us, that would be great. But so now can anybody guess number 3? So the first 2 are kind of chalk. All right. I'm not giving anybody credit. Nobody gets kudos for getting those 2. If anyone guessed the third one here, that would be impressive. That includes folks in the chat.
New Orleans.
Wow, it is New Orleans. Wow, did you know that, or were you just throwing stuff around?
I was trying to pick a team that I thought had really fun, loud fans. And I feel like New Orleans fans, they go hard. They love the New Orleans fans.
They got that drum that they bang, and they're like,
exactly.
That's not really what it sounds like, but that's an example of a drum.
Doesn't sound like that either. That was a cool drum, JF.
So yes, and it is the Superdome. Do you guys know what their current sponsor is?
Mercedes-Benz.
Mercedes-Benz.
It actually is not. So they changed it recently because Mercedes-Benz was sponsoring both the Saints and the Falcons. So they have a new sponsor.
Pittsburgh. Oh wait, Dustin's guessing another city, not the sponsor. Pittsburgh sponsors
the New Orleans Stadium.
Pittsburgh Stadium in New Orleans.
It is, yeah.
That would be such a flex.
It is Heinz, right? It's they're the new Heinz Field. No, it's now Caesars. Caesars is the new sponsor. So Pittsburgh, good guess. Pittsburgh is number 8 on the list.
I knew
I'll give you
that.
guys one quick guess on this, on 4 or 5, and then I'll just give them to you. So go ahead.
New England.
New England's number 10 on the list.
Lambeau.
Lambeau is number 4. JL. Hey! Play us a game show sound. So Lambeau. Tell him what he's won, Simon.
Today, John Luke, you have won a new card.
Peanut butter.
Presenting to you the 2022 Ford Flex.
Oh, boys wanted a Ford Flex.
You have won peanut butter car toast made by Simon's mom.
Yes.
Crunchy, as always.
Crunchy.
Brought to you by Peter Pan Peanut Butter. Always magical.
Oh,
Can I get
yeah.
Skippy?
No, you cannot have Skippy.
Here's the rest of the list. Number 5, State Farm Stadium. Who plays there?
That's
Jake.
the
The Jakes.
Dinglers.
The Dinglers. Yeah. So that's what the
State
Dinglers
Farm
play.
has got to be the Bills. No, they play in Highmark. Cardinals.
Cardinals. Good job.
Ah,
Nice job,
University
Joe.
of Phoenix Stadium. This one you guys should know. Number 6 on the list, Lucas Oil Stadium.
that's Colts.
That's the Colts. Number 7 is US Bank Stadium. It's a fairly new stadium.
U.S. Bank.
Fairly
US
new
Bank.
new stadium that when it was first built was notorious for killing birds.
Lots of windmills attached to it.
Oh, you guys never heard this
Enemy of
story?
birds.
This stadium, when built,
Glass?
it had glass walls, and like a alarming number of birds were running into it and dying to the point where they had to like add like some sort of tint to make sure that wasn't happening anymore.
Poor birds.
That's kind of crazy.
Tell me who it was.
Dustin got it in the chat. It's Minnesota is where the US Bank Stadium, the Vikings.
U.S. Bank.
Number 8 on the list.
Cousins liked that the birds were dying. He thought it was funny.
He
Who did?
Yeah, he
Kirk
would.
Cousins. He drove into
just-
work every day
just
and just
giggling.
ha ha at the birds on the ground.
Stupid birds.
Eating a bunch of bird sandwiches. Number 8 on the list is the world-renowned and world-famous Acrisure Stadium. We talked about that one.
Heinz.
That's Pittsburgh. And then the number 9 on the list, very similar sounding to M&T Bank Stadium, AT&T Stadium. You guys know who plays it?
Dallas.
That's like Dallas Cowboys. And then we already talked about number 10 on the list, which is Gillette Stadium. Pretty cool list there, folks. So yeah, those are the loudest ones. I didn't see the Field of Jeans on there anywhere, despite what Mr. Debo Samuel is trying to tell us.
So, Debo, the last
of
20
jeans.
minutes have all been to tell you you're wrong. You know, the songs we were singing, the games we were playing, the cars we gave away.
The fun
It's
we
all
were
for you.
having.
So
NKC in here said, good morning. What's up, NKC?
Good
Welcome
morning,
in, my
NKC.
friend. And Joey said, great. More animal death. Talking about the birds hitting the stadium.
unbelievable.
I think we're hitting our quota for the day. We're getting close.
We're
And
up
Hal
there.
wants to know completely. I have no idea what he's asking this in reference to, but says, is that mouthwash?
Acrisure. Acrisure does sound like a mouthwash brand.
Is that mouthwash?
Time to play our favorite game. Is that mouthwash? Acrisure.
Oh, that is not mouthwash.
you just put things in your mouth and determine whether it's mouthwash or not.
Do you see the videos where people like do the blind taste test where all the drinks are like behind a thing and they're trying to tell the difference between all the colas or all the waters or something like that?
Yeah.
I saw one that they did yesterday where someone did it with their grandpa and had like apple juice, root beer, Diet Coke. He thought all of them were water. Every single one. Took a sip, it was like water. Oh, this one's also water.
How is
And he
that
was
even
like,
possible, bro?
it seems so mean to take that video. Like if your grandfather thinks root beer is water, maybe you don't take a video of it and put it on the internet. Like maybe the dude can't taste and we shouldn't make fun of him.
Maybe. You think? Not even taste, bro. Root beer has a pretty distinct feel to it. It's like pretty
Frothy.
pretty sparkly. It's not.
Tastes like a beach in the morning.
Yeah. Pretty aggressive.
Pretty bubbly. And Andrew said 4 out of 10 dentists recommend Acrisure.
4 out of 10. Oh, that's not good.
Is that mouthwash?
Guys, coming up, we got some games we're going to play here today. We're going to go through a segment we call Dear Diarrhea, where we share some life lessons that we've learned, fantasy related, maybe not fantasy related. We're going to have a musical instruments draft, and you guys are going down. Then we're going to play a game we call Oh No, Luigi. And then we're going to answer Reddit at the end of today's show, help them out with some of life's biggest problems. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that, because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We had these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Yeah.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad, Ray. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's
And
the
I think
problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%.
drink.
That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such a thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass. You know,
Yeah,
at the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show, bright and early on this Thursday morning. It's 6, 7, 8, or a different time, depending on where you're living right now, because time zones are stupid, and we all have to navigate them every single day.
It's all a simulation.
It's all a simulation. We're about to get into a segment we call Dear Diarrhea, where we write segments into our diarrhea and teach you guys some lessons, some things that we've learned throughout the fantasy football season or throughout life. Before we get into that, though, we've got a question in here from our friend Adam. What's up, Adam? Welcome in, my
What
friend.
up, Adam?
Adam wants to know, do you think James Cook could be a dynamic running back like his brother and a big piece of the Bills' offense next year? I think they need to slightly rebuild and start to develop a good run game. Thoughts? Or could you see them drafting someone like Bijan Robinson? Coop, what do you think about James Cook?
I think that so it's kind of a loaded question to say like his brother. I mean, Dalvin Cook is one of the best running backs we've seen in quite some time. The thing with James Cook is he's not as big, so he really does need to bulk up a bit and get on that level. But if he can, he's got pretty electric speed, pretty good pass catching chops. There is a possibility. I'm willing to bet on it in Dynasty, but you pointed out, I mean, you kind of loaded up the question and then came in with the hammer afterwards, dropping the name of Bijan Robinson. If they do bring in a guy that's an early down type back, it's really going to limit the upside of James Cook. Right now, he's in a position where it's not crazy for him to potentially elevate himself to an Alvin Kamara or an Austin Eckler type role. Like we mentioned yesterday, Austin Eckler came in at 194 pounds, and now he's clearly weighs more than that. He bulked up. James Cook came in at 199, which is below the threshold, but just barely. So he could bulk up. But if they bring in a early down back, then that tells us right away that the Bills don't view him that way, and it's going to hurt his value immediately. So this offseason is going to be huge for Mr. James Cook. And something as simple as just bringing Devin Singletary back, who's an unrestricted free agent, could do it too.
Yeah. And Tommy in here says they need to move Singletary. Well, they won't have to move Singletary. It'll just be a matter of whether they re-sign him. And Hal also asking a Singletary free agent. Looks like he is, according to Coop.
Yes.
And Tommy also saying, yes, 100%. Kid is talented. Thinks James Cook is a talented kid. And I'm with you. I think he is talented, but it's going to come down to what does that opportunity look like? What is his situation? Because I don't think his talent is one where it just supersedes any other player on that roster, and he is the clear starting back. If they draft a Bijan Robinson or another early round running back, it's going to lower James Cook for me. I'm with you, Coop.
And you have to keep in mind in Dynasty that the opportunity afforded to different players really depends on where they land. If you land on a team like the Bills that are loaded up and going for it now, they have a ton of weapons. There's not a ton of opportunity there. If you land on a team like the 2019 Dolphins that are tanking on purpose to try and get Tua, then there's going to be enough opportunity for even a guy like Preston Williams to play a ton of snaps. Same thing with the Lions. The Lions let Kenny Golladay leave. They let Marvin Jones leave. It was a perfect setup for Amon-Ra St. Brown to play a ton of snaps. If James Cook landed somewhere else, he might have got a bigger opportunity now, but he would still be the same player, would he not? So a guy like that lands on a team like that, I'm willing to wait a little longer to see if they can emerge because they have more competition. That's the way I look at some of these guys.
Hal said, it strikes me as odd that running backs are more and more often in a committee, and yet still internet is so great. And then he came in and said, injuries at the same rate.
The internet is great, though. I mean, not wrong.
Very suspicious.
Explain this to me.
Great.
We're seeing more and more of these committees, yet my videos still buffer quite well.
Suspicious, no?
Huh? I'm able to stream in 1080p and James Cook is in a committee? I think not.
Busted.
We're on to you, Bill Gates.
We're on to you. Inventor of the internet, Bill Gates, as we all know.
How dare you? Everyone knows everyone knows Al Gore invented the internet.
Right. Bill Gates just helped. He was just there. They were all sitting in a garage and they invented the internet.
What do you guys want to do?
Also, earlier Hal said James Cook is morsel.
Very true.
There you have it.
And the internet's still great.
And the internet is still
Imagine
great.
that. Imagine that.
Well, guys, we're about to get into Dear Diarrhea. Like I mentioned, we're going to read entries into our diarrhea for you guys. Things that we've learned, things that we want to get off our chest, maybe just some secrets that we need to put down on paper.
Secrets.
I've got my entry. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in here and give my entry first. And here's my entry. Dear Diarrhea, learn to say no in fantasy football. The offseason has just started, and the messages have already started rolling in. You're starting to miss fantasy already. But learn to say no whenever your friend messages you and says, hey, want to join my new Dynasty League? Learn to say no when someone messages you and says, hey, we're doing our Superflex draft before the NFL draft. You want to join? Learn to say no. Because what's not fun
is hitting the season and having 28 leagues that you need to manage and not having the time to do so. It takes the joy out of the leagues that you love the most, because now all of a sudden on Tuesday night, it's a chore to go through the waiver wire of the additional
3
20
hours.
leagues after you hit your first 8. Learn to say no. And this isn't me saying you can only join a max of 10 leagues. Know what your number is. Know what's comfortable for you. Know what's still fun for you. For some people, that may be 25. For me, it's right around that 10 threshold. Any more than that, and it becomes difficult. So I need to learn to say no. Thank you, Diarrhea.
Yeah, because it's so
You're
hard.
welcome.
It's so hard to break up with leagues, too. People take it
God.
very, very personally.
They do.
What, you don't like my league that I made? You
You
don't like me? What's your
don't
guys'
like-
go-to way to
you
break
don't
up
like
with a
me
league?
football? I just tell them that I'm dead.
Sorry, I died.
R.I.P.
I hope you
Yeah.
find a replacement.
Sorry.
My go-to way to leave a league is wait till it dissolves. So I need a new strategy.
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm
That's
still
why
working.
you have 28 leagues.
That's why I have no, I cut it down to 17 this year, but I need to cut it down even further. I tried to follow this advice last year and I did a pretty good job up until 2 weeks before the season. And then that's when you really get that itch, and everyone that asks you for a last minute league, you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
House
so
and Simon want to join my Superflex IDP 14 team dynasty. I'm in, babe. I mean,
Let's go.
no.
So I do have a way to deflect league invites, which is basically I just say, go fuck yourself. No, what I do is I
Does that work?
say, well, yeah, it does, dude. You lose some followers that way. But no, what I do say is that I'm only joining. I'm like, I got too many leagues. I'm only joining redraft best ball leagues or charity leagues. That's the only ones I do nowadays because I have too many like regularly ongoing leagues. So you're not going to get me into your best ball dynasty league. That's a little trick they like to pull when I say I only do best ball. So I had to specify only doing if you have a redraft best ball league where I just do the draft, I'll be in the league. I'll be in 100 leagues. But if it has waivers, if it has setting lineups, can't do any more of those as of this moment. Maybe that will change in the future.
Scott said, I just say no to all of them pretty much. And Craig said, so that is why Simon and JL refused my league invites.
Yeah,
Scott,
that's why.
You didn't say no to that league with Des Bryant when he came asking.
It was best ball.
Yeah, I guess it was. All right, Scott, you're off the hook.
This time.
We'll let you off the hook. That's mine. Learn to say no. Learn to say no to joining fantasy leagues because I'm not good at it because I love drafting. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And Scott Fish said, I love how every offseason is now, I'm in too many leagues, got to cut down, and I'm leaving this league, followed by a tweet 2 days later. Anyone got a new startup?
Y'all got to name more of them startups.
Running low. Need some more.
I got a hankering. Yeah, just do mock drafts, you psycho. So
Coop, you got something you want to get off your chest? Tell your diarrhea about?
I do. Mine's also about dynasty leagues. I tweeted this the other day, and I believe Scott shares the same sentiment. This time of year, especially, there's going to be pressure in your dynasty leagues, especially if you're new to it, to rank these incoming prospects now. Now, if you play in Devy leagues, Devy league is where basically you draft players early, usually while they're still in college, but sometimes, you draft them now before the draft, or if your draft is just before the draft, or if you do some sort of NFL draft contest where you have to like guess who gets drafted where, then maybe you do go out of your way to rank guys now. But I would strongly discourage going in and ranking players now before the combine and draft, because those are two of the biggest pieces of the puzzle. The vast majority of dynasty leagues draft after the NFL draft. And if you go in now and spend a ton of time ranking players, now I don't mind watching film, figuring out who does what type of player are they? Say it's a wide receiver. Are they a field stretcher? Are they a split end? Figure that information out. But if you go in and set rankings in stone and give yourself preconceived notions, you can lead yourself to making big mistakes that you shouldn't be making in your dynasty draft. Now, if you're one of the few people, which I am not, that can be completely unbiased and set these rankings, and then when the draft comes, actually make significant changes to your rankings, then go right ahead. But there's too many people out there that sat, and we've seen a million examples of it, that sat down and said, Hakeem Butler, he's my wide receiver 1 overall. He's the man. Kelvin Harmon, he's the man. And then those guys get drafted in the 4th and 5th round and they don't make those changes. Equanimous St. Brown, I've seen it a million times where they say, okay, well, I had him at 1 and he went in the 4th round, so I'll just move him down a little bit. No, you have to move him way down. You were wrong. You know what I mean? So be very careful with what you do now, because I know you get excited and everything. The draft isn't for what, 3 months, 4 months almost, because it's at the end of April. Just take it easy, relax, enjoy the playoffs, look around, work on your current roster, maybe work on some trades. The hard part isn't making the picks, it's acquiring the picks. So that's my advice. Be very careful this time of year going overboard, falling in love with some of these prospects, only to find out, guess what? The NFL scouts that get paid to do this have their jobs riding on it. They don't like that player, and that's what matters most. So be careful.
Coop, I'm with you. I wanted to add one more thing. I put way more stock come draft time in a player going significantly later than I thought they would than a player going significantly earlier than I thought they would. And the reason being, in order for a player to go significantly later than I thought they would, 32 teams had to pass on them multiple times. In order for a player to go earlier than I thought they would, only one team has to make that decision to come up and grab them. Know what I mean? So it's one decision that pushed that player up the board. Whenever it's a player that falls and falls and falls, it's 32 teams making that decision over and over and over again that he wasn't worth the pick right there. He wasn't worth the pick right there. He wasn't worth the pick right there. I look at like Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Jonathan Taylor, right? And I saw people switch those guys in their rankings because Clyde Edwards-Helaire went at the end of the 1st round to the Chiefs. Now, that was just one team making a decision that they liked Clyde Edwards-Helaire more than Jonathan Taylor, right? And it wasn't a huge gap down to the 2nd round of JT. So in that case, I'm not putting as much stock in the Chiefs drafting him before JT as I would have if JT had fallen to the 4th round, right?
Exactly. I mean, like, and when you look at the numbers, especially the 4th round is the big cutoff, because after the 3rd round, now you have compensatory picks in the mix. So the difference between the 2nd to 3rd round is different than the pick than from the 3rd to the 4th round and the 4th to 5th round, because you have like 10 picks in between those rounds, right? And historically speaking, when you look at it, the wide receivers drafted in the 4th round or later have an absolutely atrocious hit rate. We're talking 5%. So for every one Amon-Ra St. Brown, which counts as a hit in the 4th round, he's basically the best 4th round wide receiver that's been drafted since Jamison Crowder. Like for every one of those guys, there's 19 guys that do nothing, that never have a single top 24 season. Right. So, you know, there's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Darnell Mooney, these guys count. So does a guy like Rashad Matthews, who had one good season. It's a guy like he's a coach for Ohio State now. No, I can't remember. Brian Hartline.
Urban Meyer.
Brian Hartline counts as
Brian
a
Meyer
hit. Brian Urban Hartline Meyer counts as a hit in this formula. So that hit rate is so low that you really honestly should not be drafting a 4th round wide receiver over anybody that was drafted in the first 3 rounds. And the worst thing that can happen to you at times is to hit on an Amon-Ra St. Brown, because now you think you can beat the system. No, you can't. You just got lucky.
You just got lucky, punk.
The worst thing that can happen to you is an Amon-Ra St. Brown.
So the worst thing that can happen to you is to walk in that casino and to make a terrible bet and to hit, right? To, 1 in 20, to put your money on 1 in 20 and have that hit, because now you think that it's going to happen regularly. And that one time you hit and made money, now for the next 5 years, you're going to be like, oh, I'm the late round wide receiver guy. I got this all figured out. And you're going to blow a bunch of picks. And at the end of the day, you're going to end up worse off than you were in the first place. So be careful.
Greg in here said, thank you for the Jamison Crowder mention. #Crowder Crowd.
Crowd.
What up, Crowder?
Crowd. Scott Fish in here said it's let's see, we already hit the one. Yeah, he mentioned the thing about the dynasty leagues. And he said it's why average dynasty leagues last 2 to 3 years now. Sad face.
That's why I always play to win.
Whenever there's a hastily put together dynasty league, friends, I'm like immediately like, this isn't gonna last.
Yeah,
it's got to be thought out.
Bring back redraft as a new league format. I love dynasty. I do, but not every league needs to be dynasty.
No, not every league. Yeah. For sure.
Maybe 2, maybe 3 dynasty leagues at most is what I would like to have. Instead, I have like 7, which is too much. Like Simon said, it's just people send me trade offers, and I'm just like,
which league is this?
Tired.
Which league is this?
No,
I am late.
I love dynasty leagues. I just want to be able to keep up with it. I want to be able to like be fully invested in it, and so I can't have too many of them.
That makes sense.
I need like an assistant.
Dustin said, make Keeper great again. Yeah. I think Keeper is a forgotten league format just because it sucks compared to the other two.
That's the main problem.
It's the main issue that it has to overcome. Guys, my dear Diarrhea.
Woo!
This show is Dear Diarrhea.
All right.
Last offseason, we did a mock draft every single week. We did our fantasy football game show. So every Monday, we did a mock draft Monday. It's the first time that I've ever done it every single week of the offseason. And now that I've gone through, now that we're past the season, I can confidently say it made me 10 times better of a fantasy player. By going through and doing those mock drafts, I was able to keep an eye on what the market values for these players were and how they shifted throughout the offseason so that when August came around and I was drafting for real on the clock in real drafts, I knew who was a value and who wasn't. It wasn't like I just pulled up my, re-downloaded my fantasy platform in August and then had to sit there and relearn all these different players. Of course, I had the advantage of looking at NFL news all day, but it doesn't change the fact that mock drafting helped me be able to strategize my draft, be able to think through different builds, do different strategies, and it made my fantasy teams better. My success rate this year compared to previous years in fantasy, worlds better. So mock draft every week. I'm going to do it again this year. We're running it back. Let's go.
Bingo, dude. Love that. Because when you do enough of them, and I also like doing underdog best ball drafts, though that is slightly different. But at least when you have underdog, you have something on it, so people do care. And if you're not on underdog, you can go out and use promo code ALARM right now from Fantasy Alarm. They'll match up to $100. That's just a little side promo for you guys. The match of $100, and you can do a bunch of those drafts. And I swear, like JL says, it's like you're like Keanu Reeves looking into the Matrix. Like you've seen so many of these drafts that you know who's going to go where, who isn't, and you truly know when to get your guys. Because otherwise, if you haven't done enough mocks, if you haven't done enough best balls, you feel that uncertainty the whole time. Do I reach for this guy now? Is it too early to take this guy? If you've done enough mock drafts, you know exactly when it's too early and when it's too not. And you feel good about it when other people reach for guys that you like. Like if I don't do enough mock drafts or best balls, I get the FOMOs when my players get taken. If I've done enough, I know that if somebody reaches for Mike Fiala, Daddy's Home, took Evan Ingram crazy early in the Scott Fish Bowl, I knew that it was too early. So even though it was one of my favorite players, I was like, you know what? He reached too early. He ended up being the guy that took him the earliest of everyone in the 3,000 person draft. So it was pretty obvious it was too early. And I think he did it on purpose to hurt my feelings. And he did hurt my feelings. But I at least knew that he reached too early for him. So be Keanu Reeves. Take the blue pill, enter the Matrix, defeat the bad guys, win your fantasy leagues. Do mock drafts. Like JL said.
2 mock drafts.
Ditto.
Sorry, did I talk for a long time there?
No, not at all. I'm with you guys though. Mock drafting changes the game whenever it becomes draft season. You go in there and you're not a blind squirrel looking for a nut or whatever that phrase is. You're a fully seen squirrel and you already have a nut. And look, it's your drafting skills. Look at that nut.
Laser eye
squirrel. Look at that nut.
Look at that nut. And Hal wants to know where the difference is between redraft and best ball drafts. Coop, you want to talk a little bit about the differences between redraft and best ball?
Yeah, so the main difference between redraft and best ball is that in redraft, you need to set your lineup every single week. So you need to have a certain level of confidence in that player, right? You want to have guys that offer a decent floor and have a high ceiling. In best ball, you don't set your lineup at all. So you just have a team of 20, 30 players, and the system automatically puts the best players into the lineup each week. You don't have to worry about that part of it. So there's no ad drops or anything on waivers either. So when redraft, you have, maybe like 16 players on your team and you have to add drop. In best ball, you just have a longer draft and you have those guys all year. So the concepts change in terms of you now all of a sudden want guys that are boom bust. Because the weeks where they get 0 points, they don't hurt you. But the weeks where they get, 2 touchdowns, those are great. So guys like, the field stretching players like, Will Fuller was a great example back when he was playing, or, Christian Watson, he's a great pick this year. Guys that are high boom bust, those guys are great. On the flip side, you don't want to have those like middle of the pack mediocre guys, because they don't end up cracking your lineup because all these other high scoring guys do. So guys like Tyler Boyd, even Amon-Ra St. Brown, less appealing in this format. So there's a lot of nuances to it, but the main difference is that you don't have to set your lineup. And that's why I'll join a million of them, because you do the draft and that's the end of your involvement. You can tune in and watch like each week of the scoring, but you don't have to actually do anything.
Yeah, it does add a little bit more of that element. I think it's fun. It's not exactly the same. And I see how down there saying, how does ADP and best ball help you in redraft? They're similar. Just certain players are going to get pushed up higher. Your Gabriel Davises are probably going to go a little bit earlier. Your boom bust kind of guys.
If you look for if you look at the redraft, if you look at underdog ADP and you look at redraft ADP, the first maybe 4 to 5 rounds, almost identical. Like the best in best ball, the best players still go first. Most people draft both leagues the same all the way through. It's only later on people like in like the 6th, 7th, 8th round. That's when people start taking higher, bigger risks because there's less of a punishment when you take a crazy risk. The other thing that is different is that there's no waivers, so you have to draft at least 2 quarterbacks. You have to draft at least 2 tight ends. That is where ADP gets messed up a little bit. The QBs and tight ends towards the middle and end get pushed up a little bit, but it definitely helps you just to get a general idea who's going where.
Joey said, beautiful JL. Loves your mock draft diarrhea entry right there.
Thank you.
And Kevin Tompkins in here. What's up, Kevin? Said, don't draft bad old players. On Devontae Parker.
Oopsies.
On Garrett Wilson.
Wee. That goes for every format.
Coming up, we've got a musical instruments draft that we are going to get into. We're going to play a game called Feeling Lucky Punk, and then we're going to answer some of Reddit's best questions that they've got for us. Try to give them some good answers. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Your 2023 prediction on the promo that we played was the Lakers was going to make the playoffs and beat somebody in the first round.
Hey,
That is
I hope we match up against Memphis.
That's not going to happen.
I hope we match up against Memphis.
And you'll get swept.
Ain't no way we get swept.
Sweep them. The Memphis Grizzlies would be swept. They would be laughing at them.
If the Grizzlies if the Lakers make the playoffs with AD healthy, Westbrook off the bench, and LeBron, everybody's healthy, they will beat the Memphis Grizzlies 100%.
We will be on Lucra betting on that game right 100%. Now. All right, Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Lucra is redefining friendly competition. Compete in the games you play and the sports you watch with Lucra. Download the Lucra app right now to create a contest and bet against your friends in as little as 15 seconds. Use the promo code BSM when you sign up to receive a free $5 to play with. Winning is fun and beating your friends is even better.
Lucra is redefining friendly competition. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We fired Coop, but we'll see if we bring him back in. I haven't decided yet, JL. What about you?
Oh, I've decided. He's out. You're in, Simon.
Yes!
Let's
I didn't know
go.
if that was the next piece of news coming. I don't know. I think we might need him for this musical instruments draft. He knows all about instruments.
But he always wins these stupid drafts.
Every
He doesn't know.
single
He probably
time.
never doesn't even know a single instrument.
He's going to draft just based off instrument commercials.
Which are, of course, in that list would be the famous one.
Right. The really famous one that goes like, da-na-na-na.
Whopper, Whopper, Lemon, Whopper.
Lemon Whopper. That's disgusting. A lemon Whopper.
Why don't they consult me? I could have totally made that commercial way better.
Whopper, Whopper, Lemon Whopper.
What's up, boys?
What's up, Coop?
Oh,
Coop's back.
Keith was kind of confused me there. He said something about me being fired, but then he said something about I have to come back for instruments or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, we believe in second chances here.
What's your favorite instrument commercial?
My favorite one?
Yeah.
It's that one where it's the hamburgers and it's like Whopper or something like that. You know the one, right?
Did you guys see someone took the Whopper song and put the lyrics to the beat of Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger by Daft Punk and did the whole Whopper, 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 double junior bacon Whopper. Like just and do you remember the classic like YouTube viral video where the person had all the different Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger lyrics like written on their fingers and did like all the motions to show it? Someone then recreated that video with all the Whopper words written on their hand.
People do those mashups all the time, and they're always like, "This is amazing." Like, dude, no, Daft Punk is amazing. That's what's happening here.
You're like, put this on Spotify right now, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go listen to Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger to scratch that itch.
Yeah. So I feel that about samples sometimes in like rap songs where people like, I listen to the song, I'm like, wait a second, the best part of the song is the chorus that they just jacked from a totally different song. Right. So yeah,
depends on how they say. Sometimes samples are so well hidden that you don't even know. Like the art of sampling is something that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
But sometimes they do just take a chorus and throw it in another song, and that's hardly like the art of sampling.
Canceled artist Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, used to do that pretty well. But
yeah, he's the king of that.
He was.
Kevin wants to know, where do I send my resume to replace Coop? Yeah, you can send that to Keith. His email is producer Keith at keith.com.
Somehow he got that.
Just send it on over there. Guys, we're about to get into our musical instruments draft. For those of you that have not, sorry, I'm mad at Dustin because he did just name a couple of my potential picks in that list. We said, let me predict the future musical instrument draft. Simon will draft tuba, theremin, bagpipes, and skin flute. Is what he thinks I'm drafting down there. Well, we'll see, Dustin. But for those of you who haven't joined us for a draft, for how this is going to work is in a snake draft format. We're going to take turns drafting musical instruments, put together a team of, how many rounds are we doing today?
5.
3, 4, 5.
3.
5 rounds.
5.
We're going to do 5 rounds of musical instruments, put together a team here and see who has the best team. We'll throw it up on Twitter. You guys can vote for who you think has the best one. And while we're drafting, throw what you think about our picks in the chat, some picks you would make. We're going to make our picks. Let's determine who goes where. Dale, do you want me to randomize yours, mine, or Coop's first?
Mine.
Okay, Dale. Random number generator, 1 to 3. You are going third. You got the turn.
Of course.
Coop, you want me to determine mine or yours?
Why don't you determine yours, which will in turn also determine mine.
Okay, I'm going second. And Coop, you got the first overall pick. So Coop is up first. I'm in that middle spot. Jail, you're on the turn.
Yes. Now, can I get some clarification on this? Like, do we have to pick, like, do we have to get, how specific do we need to get? Like, if I'm going to pick, do I have to pick like tenor saxophone or alto saxophone, or can I just pick saxophone?
You can just pick saxophone.
Okay.
Then you can't pick like woodwinds.
Okay. I'll take guitar.
Yeah. I think that's the chalk 101, but probably has to be the 101, Coop.
Yeah. I'll take that one.
I will say that doesn't, what you are taking is like a standard 6-string guitar in the sense of bass guitar does not count here.
Yeah, no, I actually just asked that question.
So, Coop, here's the difference. The strings on a bass guitar are it's an entirely different instrument. It's not like a different version of the same instrument. Like a bass guitar is a version of a stand-up bass that is then turned sideways and made electric. Like the strings are different.
Alto sax, tenor sax is the same instrument.
It's the same
guitar. Bass guitar is not.
Okay, yeah, you can take bass guitar if you want. It's gonna look stupid next to guitar. But yeah, go ahead, take it. Take it now.
The disrespect towards the bass.
No, bass is awesome. It's awesome, dude. If you need like if I took fiddle, you could take second fiddle.
God, the disrespect to bass players from Coop. You're the one just turn that treble all the way up.
Sorry, Les Claypool.
Classic.
Didn't mean to disrespect Toad and the wet sprocket on that one, but
how dare you disrespect Mr. Claypool?
Sorry, Les. He's kind of the man, though, huh?
Les Claypool's the man. If you haven't watched that man play bass, look it up right now. In about an hour and a half, look it up.
Look it up later. Yeah, look it up at 3:00 when if when Corey and Nando come on, just switch over and start watching.
That's the time.
Les Claypool, start watching Primus videos.
Yeah, Coop took guitar with the first overall pick, which means I'm on the clock here. And guys, I got to be honest, just so no one else takes it and to avoid the tilt, I know it's probably not the best use of a first round pick, but I have to take the instrument nearest and dearest to me.
That's
the
right.
one I played for 7 years, every single day for 7 years.
Limoncello.
I am taking the cello.
Oh,
it is
no.
such a beautiful instrument. It sounds so good. And then it's just one that's close to me. I love playing the cello. I love listening to the cello. I think it's an underrated instrument.
You didn't miss
so mellow and nice.
You didn't miss one day.
I'm sure I missed a day in there that I didn't, like on vacation and stuff.
Now you're fibbing to all of us.
Pretty close to every day. Every day at school for 7 years. That's the truth.
I'll allow it.
Ooh. I still
Good
never heard you play cello. I was thinking about that when I was down there.
Wow. The whole time you
I
were
have a
there,
cello.
you're like, is he gonna play? No, I don't want to.
Damn, is he gonna pull it out?
Don't want
I have to get my bow. I have to get my bow rehaired. It needs to be rehaired.
Oh.
You know the bows are
Disgusting.
made out. The strings on a bow are made out of horsehair.
You know that, dude.
Do you use your own hair?
Having a hairy
I'm
bow.
not a horse.
You got a hairy bow.
You're not?
But that's actually why I'm growing my hair out so that I can restring my own.
So that I
bow.
can make my own cello bow.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That is so gross.
That sounds like a Portlandia skit.
Someone's like, "Oh, are you growing your hair out for locks of love?" No, I'm actually starting a cello bow business.
Cello bow. I can actually on
Limited
Portland.
runs. I make 20 every 4 years.
all organic.
I could hear the character on Portlandia saying cello bow, organic cello bow.
Actually, this is made from human hair. This bow, not from horse hair.
Human
Pretty good,
cello,
Fred Armisen.
cello
Thanks.
bow. Okay, all right. Good pick.
Oh,
Fine pick.
Tommy in here said piano and drums JL setup.
Those would be good picks. A piano made entirely of human
piano is-
hair.
Oh, furry. Piano is absolutely my pick. I'm going piano here.
It's on my list of potential.
It's got to be the most versatile instrument. It sounds good in almost any genre. Actually, I can't think of a single genre it doesn't sound good in. So I'm confident enough to say it sounds good in every genre. Piano is amazing. Coop took guitar, which is probably where I would have gone here because I play the guitar. But
What?
also I played the piano. So I'm fine going piano here. And now I have a choice.
God, and piano is hard to beat. Jay, like you've just locked up a solid portion of the vote that's just going to see piano on your team and vote for it because piano's a beautiful instrument and one that has like mass appeal as well.
That's
Right. Man, and now I have a choice here.
Do you want to win or do you want to pick the one you want to pick?
Oh, I'm gonna go with
Follow your heart.
I'm gonna go with drum kit. I'm going with the drum set.
That's a
Drum
good
set.
pick. That's a great pick. I almost picked that at 1. I like the drum.
Too bad
if
Will
I were-
Ferrell's balls have been on it. Oh wait, no, it was the other guy's
I
balls.
paid extra for that.
If I would
No,
have, if I were to follow my heart, I would have picked drums. I like the drums; they are fun, and that's the part of the song that makes dancing fun.
It's true.
Hey,
Also, a very
I
versatile instrument.
was gonna say I like getting down to a funky bass line, Coop. I don't know about you. That's where I'm dancing.
Just have the Chili Peppers being like boom, 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 boom.
Is he in a submersion tank too?
Yeah. I mean, I said Chili Peppers concert.
the new Chili Peppers.
Chili
Peppers.
The new
Guys
Chili
heard the new
Peppers
Chili
album
Peppers?
is being recorded entirely in a soak tank.
Wouldn't even bat an eye. That wouldn't even make the front page.
It's a sensory deprivation changer where they're recording their next
And it
album.
would sound like every other album still. Like that's the beautiful thing about the Chili Peppers. If you like the Chili Peppers, then you like all their albums. Right? Like
All I can think of with them is can't stop addicted to. That's all that comes to mind. Just, and every Chili Pepper song is like jarring. Like you want to sing it like you're surprised by every note. Like can't stop addicted to the shindig. Like,
Realize I don't want to be a miser.
is Red Hot Chili Pepper an instrument?
It is. I'm going to take him next.
Dale, you've got piano and drum set. I took cello with my first pick. It's back to me. And I'm going with an underrated instrument, another stringed instrument here.
Mayonnaise.
The one that every time it makes an appearance, I have so much fun. Every time it shows up in music, I'm like, oh my God, that's such a fun instrument. I'm going with the banjo. And people who play banjo, it is so wild to watch banjo players pick with all their fingers down there. That was my banjo impression.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. It is so much fun to watch a banjo play.
Now give me Fred Armisen as a banjo.
No. What?
It's pretty good, actually.
I saw a guy in concert. There's a guy, Tall Trees. He's an electric banjo player, a one-guy band. But he comes out there, he uses loop pedals, and he's got this instrument he calls the Banjotron 3000. And it's got neon lights built in, and he's just like shoved a jack into it to make it electric, and it does all this crazy stuff. If Tall Trees is ever in your area and you want to see the craziest shit you've ever seen done with a banjo, go see Tall Trees. He'll make you want to take this pick in the second round.
Banjo is an interesting pick. I didn't expect you to go there. I like the banjo. It definitely is impressive watching really good banjo players like you mentioned, Simon. My only issue with banjo is that it's just kind of like stuck. There's a banjo sound, and it's hard to like really break beyond that. It's like, oh, you got a banjo in here. That sounds all right. Like, this is a banjo song now. I personally like it.
You've not been exposed to enough banjo music outside of its natural habitat, outside of that typical like deep country music.
You need a rap song. You need a rap song.
Right. You can find other genres that mix the banjo in, and it's always a welcome surprise. I hear what you're saying though, JL. It's like a banana in a smoothie. You definitely know it's there. It's never just being part of it.
I love the piano and rap music. So, dude, I'm not sure. Do you guys know who Scott Storch is?
Storch?
Scott Storch. So Scott Storch is a guy that
related to Greg Dortch.
He is actually, yeah.
Sitting on my front porch.
It's just a coincidence that they have. Yeah, they do hang on the front porch. They do. But Scott Storch is a famous guy producer that would make beats. He's made a ton that you would know, right? And he would make his beats starting always on the piano. And then sometimes he would take the piano out and replace the piano with other sounds, but they would always start with the piano. But sometimes he'd leave the piano in. One of his most famous beats where the piano is pretty prominent is, if you ever heard the song Still Dre. That's piano. That's piano. So he sat down on the piano.
That's piano.
That's piano. He sat down on the piano, made that beat just on the piano, and they kept it in there. Yeah. But so check out Scott Storch. Almost all his beats are either have piano in them or based entirely on piano. So pretty cool, right?
Tommy said, bada bing, 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 bing.
Tommy nailed it, though, dude. Like, I immediately heard the sound in my head just reading that. Yeah.
That was Simon.
Oop, you're back on the clock. Did you see that was Simon? Yeah, that was me saying it out loud. Oop, you're back on the clock. I'm the voice inside your head. What are you going to pick?
So I'm going to take a couple here that I quite like. Now, number one I have to take here, it's kind of chalk, but the violin. Violin is a lot of fun, man. And I love the violin, especially in movie soundtracks. Like movie soundtrack songs, the violin goes hard, goes ham. When that violin gets popping, love that business. And for my second one, because I get back picks, I'm going to take another instrument that starts with V. I'm going to take the vocals for my next pick. So I'm going to take violin and vocals as my third one. Love a good song, love some good lyrics. And I think that instrument can be incredibly beautiful. So guitar, violin, vocals, my first three picks. Back to you, Simon.
Vocals. I'm sitting here wondering, is that an instrument?
What do you mean?
I don't think it's an instrument, the vocals.
Let's Google it. Let's see. Are vocals considered an instrument?
Tommy says vocals not an instrument. DQ, not an instrument. Dustin said vocals are not an instrument.
Whoa. What are you talking about?
I mean, technically anything used to produce sound is an instrument.
All right, I'll take microphone.
Okay. I'm good with that if that's the definition.
I will say it does feel a little bit less in the sphere of the draft just because it doesn't fit something you can obtain here, right? Like,
all right, give me microphone.
It's a gray area, so I can see it. Microphone.
Can I not do
I
microphone?
don't know I don't know if that's a musical instrument.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's a musical instrument. It's
All
an
right.
input device.
Well, if that's the case, though, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of thinking here because I mean, you guys got to change.
I don't know where I land on vocals. I honestly, that's like a perfect gray area. I don't know where it should go.
Coop is Patrick right now? Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Don't make me take it. All right, let's be real here. I was definitely trying to cheat and slide that one by. Vocals, not an instrument, but it wouldn't be one of these drafts if I didn't try to cheat at least one time. So I will cross out vocals as not being an instrument. And I guess I'll go with one of
it's something you train and get practice in. Man, I don't know. It's very tough.
Yeah, but I think if we had clarified that in advance, then vocals would have been drafted earlier. I think that's a big part of what
that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
What's it gonna be?
I don't even know any other instruments. Let's see. I will take.
There's so many instruments left.
There's so many, dude. You would think that I would know the name of another one, but I actually don't. Give me one more second here. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves.
No. I'm not talking amongst myself. So it is your time on the clock.
All right,
You're gonna tell us what you take?
I'll take the keyboard.
Like the electronic keyboard?
Yeah.
That different enough from piano?
Oh, now we're talking, right? Because it's a different instrument than a bass guitar. It's like a bass guitar, right?
Well, that would be acoustic and electric would be a more
that would be acoustic
analog.
guitar. That would be acoustic guitar to electric guitar, which I don't think we would allow to be drafted here.
All right, fine. I'll take the synthesizer then.
Okay.
That's fine.
That is a different instrument altogether.
Kind of garbage, dude. Keyboard, pretty different. Why wouldn't they just call it an electric piano?
Sometimes they do.
It's a good question.
I have heard it called that before.
And there are electric pianos that aren't keyboards.
I just googled electric piano and said there's no such thing.
Yeah. Now
They
try
don't-
Googling
they don't call
keyboard.
it that. Yeah.
Electric piano versus what's the difference between a keyboard and an electric piano?
So
Electric piano has the same mechanisms as a acoustic piano, but it gets translated into like electrical signal as opposed to an acoustic piano is just the sound from the actual physical things.
I feel like you guys are trying to sabotage my whole draft here.
It feels like you're trying to break the game.
Dustin says
Coop's like, look what you've done.
Dustin says, let Coop
as he
take
tries
whatever
to
he
cheat.
all
wants.
over the board.
Yeah.
I'm taking Freddie Mercury.
This is all your fault. You're the Antonio Brown of our drafts.
I'm taking Freddie Mercury, and I'm taking. All right, fine. Give me
Take
the
your shirt off and leave already.
Give me the synthesizer that we can just make every single sound.
I'm up next. I took the country sound with the last one. And this time I'm taking a classic blues sound, and I'm taking the harmonica with my next pick. I wanted to take something that wasn't a stringed instrument. A harmonica solo goes so hard. Man, like that's another instrument. Whenever it comes out in a song or a guy brings it out on stage during a concert, there's immediate hype whenever that harmonica shows up. And they make it look so easy. I don't know if you've ever tried to play a harmonica. I wanted one really bad for Christmas one year. It's hard, man. It's really hard to get like an actual good sound from that thing. It's easy to make it sound like shit, but it's hard to make a real positive sound from that thing. I'm always impressed by it. And it's a staple in the one-man band style performances with the loop pedals and everything. They always got that harmonica in front of them.
You have a very specific sound, Simon. And this is right in line with your music taste, I feel like.
Cello, banjo, harmonica.
Yeah.
Harmonica was on my list. Harmonica, when played well, is great, and when played poorly, good lord.
It's also kind of good.
No, it's not.
It's one of the instruments that the average 2-year-old can play at the same level as any adult that doesn't have
That's what I'm
training on
saying.
it.
Like, yeah, which is like better than a normal adult on a piano or something like more complex.
Yeah.
Like
Simon, you're building like a bit of a like campfire vibe with the cello.
Yeah, and then one guy brought his cello to the campfire.
way too hard to the campfire.
Steven, we told you to leave your cello at home.
God damn it, Steven.
There's not room for the cooler and the cello.
Dustin's a cello, banjo, and harmonica. Simon's the guy that tries to join every jam session, and it just kills the mood.
Right, just a bunch
kazoo
of like
coming next round. Hey,
a bunch of
hate on the kazoo.
Just a bunch of cool. I just picture a bunch of cool people on the beach, like they just got done surfing and they're drinking beers, and Simon rolls up with his friggin' cello, wearing like a bow tie, clicks it open.
You guys ready to play?
It keeps
you guys jamming
slipping
over here?
into the sand. You guys jamming?
Bush latte?
Yeah, my group so far: guitar, violin, synthesizer. I'm going for a bit of like a Mars Volta vibe or something.
Ooh, Mars Volta shout out on the show. Didn't expect that.
John Luke, you're up next. You got 2 picks. You're on the turn here.
I mean, what band, if not Mars Volta, guitar, violin, synthesizer? What group is that?
Guitar, violin, synthesizer, the Lumineers.
Something from the 80s.
Something from the 80s.
Actually,
dude, that'd be such a great band name, Simon.
Something from the 80s.
If you play that kind of music, bro. Something from
my new band.
So I'm up next, and oh man, I'm so glad. I am so glad you guys didn't go with my choice here. Tommy tried to ruin it for me. I'm going saxophone.
Good pick.
Saxophone is
great pick.
One of my favorite instruments. It is. I'm so wildly impressed by people who can play it very well. And it almost always sounds good. It's very similar to piano. It's just very versatile. You can use it in a lot of different types of music. It's smooth, man. There's not a ton of instruments that are more smooth than the saxophone. And in the same vein, I'm going trumpet here. I'm building the whole brass section. Give me trumpet. The Louis Armstrong, the Miles Davis, all that.
Careless Whisper.
I like it.
You gotta go right to Careless Whisper. Can we get
every time?
Keith, we got the Careless Whisper drop still?
That reminds me of one of our friends in college. Simon, do you remember this? Like every party, one of our friends, our fraternity brothers, would bust into a party with his shirt off and his saxophone, just blaring Careless Whispers.
Every
time.
And it probably hits. It probably never fails to hit.
It never failed.
No, it was
every time.
He got the whole room pumped every single time he did it.
It's amazing.
It hits different, man. Saxophone and trumpet, good picks. Good picks. First I was like, why would you take both of those? But they're kind of complementary.
Yeah, and different. Very distinct, different sounds.
Very distinct, different sounds.
There it is.
Oh, that was awkward. I was kind of feeling it in the middle of that right there. I mean, this back to me. It's my pick, and there's so many different directions I want to go here. There's so many good instruments left that we could pick.
Is there?
I've got such an affinity for stringed instruments is what I'm realizing. Like I really love a stringed instrument. And so I think what I'm going to go with is another stringed instrument. It's one that I've always just been so fascinated by. Like I just think it's such an interesting instrument. And every time somebody's playing it, I stop to watch because I can't imagine the amount of training that goes into playing one of these. I'm taking the harp. A 49 stringed instrument where every string is just its own individual note. You create some of the most beautiful melodies you've ever heard. And then whenever it gets mixed into modern music, it's haunting having that harp in the background of like a pop song. It is such a unique sound, and just the effort and time that goes into playing a harp, just it's mind-boggling to me. 49 strings. You got to tune 49 strings every time you want to play that. That's absurd.
It is. Yeah. People who play the harp, incredible. It is incredible.
It's maybe the instrument I'm most impressed by whenever I watch, where I just stop and I'm like, what in the world? What a crazy instrument.
Not only
that
do you
you've
have
dedicated your time to learn how to play.
Not only do you have to play, not only do you have to play it, but you also have to figure out how to look angelic.
That's true.
It's all about like the
grow your hair
gentle
out.
movements.
All about it. It doesn't even sound right if you don't look like an angel.
Yeah,
so
you're up there trying to like play the harp like hard, like
I can kind of see like an aggressive harp player. I'm gonna.
Dustin said every time you see someone playing the harp, you stop and watch. Where are you going that people are playing the harp? It's not often.
Subway.
The sandwich shop, not the underground train station.
Of course.
Yeah.
The subway at the subway. There's a subway down in the subway in Boston, and there's typically 2 harp players there.
Every time.
Minimum of 2. They do a little harp duel, harp versus harp.
Harp. I just said harp loudly. So Coop, it's your pick if you want to say harp loudly as well, or you can take something else entirely.
I'm gonna take something else into electric harp. Is what I'm gonna take. It's a different instrument. No, I got my instruments pretty easy here. Should have been taken earlier. We're talking about fun. You're talking about an instrument that's fun. Anytime someone's playing these pups, it's fun. I'm going with the bongos.
The bongos. That's a good pick.
Yeah, like you can't, dude. No matter how bad a mood you are, those bongos start ripping. Like you could be at, your grandfather's funeral, and somebody's banging those bongos, and the corner of your mouth is going to crack a smile. The bongos they bring light into this world. So give me the bongos. So my band is guitar, violin, synthesizer, bongos, which means this band. I mean, like you guys, JL's got a whole wind section. Simon's got the whole backwater.
Yes, my entire wind section. Simon's got a fire section. You got an earth section.
Simon's got the whole backwater, spitting out chaw, give your sister an inappropriate kiss type vibe going. Mine, I only have one
an appropriate kiss to give my sister
on the cheek, quietly.
Polite one, a European one.
A polite European kiss, but that's not
loudly though.
That's not what Simon's banjo harmonica symposium's doing.
You gonna take the mouth organ?
The mouth organ, I already tried to take that. You guys said no. All right, try to take that. So I got guitar, violin, synthesizer, bongos, and got to round this out with pretty obvious one. I'm surprised it hasn't been taken, but I'm gonna go with the cowbell. So give me the cowbell.
You always need more.
Every band needs more cowbell. So I think that's gonna round out my 5.
It's a very versatile instrument. Let me tell you all the noises a cowbell can make. Cling, 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 cling.
Oh, but when you get up inside there and give it a little ring ding ding, a little ring a ding ding.
And of course you can complement that with all the versatility of your bongos. Bonk, 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 bonk.
Oh, so good. And then I have the synthesizer that can literally make every other sound that I need. So it should be pretty well rounded.
Coop sounds like every single SoundCloud artist. Synthesizer with these random other instruments.
That's what makes them different. Yeah, it's just a normal beats that they found for free on like Google, searching on YouTube, free instrumentals, and they're like, well, mine's different because I mixed in a cowbell.
I put it on my synthesizer, so
I kind of made it my own.
Different. Yeah.
Wait, so the mouth organ actually is its own different thing, huh?
Yeah, it's a whole instrument.
Horrifying.
Man,
I like it.
The last one that I want to take here, I've already been preemptively mocked about this instrument in the chat to the point where I almost don't want to take it, but I got to follow my heart. And it's another one. When it shows up in a band, when it shows up in a song, when you're watching Tangled and Rapunzel and Flynn walk into the bar and you hear, duh, duh, I'm malicious, mean, and scary. The instrument at the beginning of there, the big push of the accordion just gets you so hyped for that song. And then one of my favorite bands of all time, Gogol Bordello. It's a gypsy punk rock band out of the Ukraine. They have an accordion player in a punk rock band, and it goes so hard. It is unbelievable how hard the accordion goes. It's a keyed instrument and it's an air-based instrument. I like the uniqueness of some of these instruments. Like the sound itself isn't that necessarily like, it's not off-putting, but it's a unique sound. You know what I mean? Like sometimes unique can mean weird. Unique can mean like off-putting in some way. All these instruments I selected, none of the sounds are off-putting, but they are unique and they're distinguishable. Like I know when I hear an accordion in a song, it is clearly an accordion. And all the fun little things you can do with it. You can imagine someone in lederhosen wearing it. You can also imagine a guy in a punk band just jamming out on the accordion. You can imagine a musical like Tangled utilizing it to make their grand musical number even better.
Dude, I want to give you points for accordion, but I feel like you lose full points for not name dropping Weird Al anywhere during that.
I don't need Weird Al for accordion to
I think you need
what it speaks.
Weird Al is, I almost picked accordion specifically because Weird Al makes it so awesome. And I just want to give a shout out quick to Tommy in the chat that the electric harp song that I was playing was actually a Green Day song. It was Green Day Brain Stew. Great here by Tommy. Dan it.
I recently read about a study that there was I forget what school it was at that did it, but there was someone who did a study that they had a bunch of people clap out the rhythm to Happy Birthday to a group of people. But before they did it, they had them guess what percentage of people do you think will know what song you're clapping out? And most of the guesses were in the 50% range, right? They were like, about half the people will know what I'm doing here. The real number was like less than 5% were able to identify that it was even Happy Birthday. They did it with a bunch of other songs as well. And consistently, the numbers were way lower than you would expect. People do not have that recognition when you clap out a song, the rhythm, even though you think you got it.
Wow. That's kind of crazy.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to send it to you guys because it was a really interesting read. JL, I took accordion as my last pick, rounded my team out, which means you're up next.
I am up next, and I don't know what I'm going to do here.
Well, Tommy has requested that we not say mouth organ anymore.
Mouth organ. All right. With my final pick, I'm going to go with a fun instrument.
A fun
I'm going to go with the didgeridoo.
The didgeridoo. Didgeridoo. Not sure how to spell that one.
Oh, nailed it. For everyone in the chat, Simon spelled didgeridoo. D-J-E-R-I-D-O.
Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
It's got a didgeridoo. What did Jerry do? I don't know what Jerry did, man.
I just typed it into Google. D-J-I-D-E-R-O-D-O. Didgeridoo. That's completely wrong.
Dude, whenever I hear a didgeridoo, I always think of the same thing, which was former Celtics player Gerald Wallace. Dude, this guy had the lowest voice, and I swear when he would do his press conferences, he sounded exactly like a didgeridoo. Keith, if you can pull that up, man, it is amazing, bro. You can't unhear it when you hear it, but every time I hear didgeridoo, I immediately think of Gerald Wallace.
There's a didgeridoo player that sets up at the local farmers market near me every single weekend. He's there and he sets up, and it is wildly impressive.
Beautiful.
The didgeridoo. But the most impressive, JL, I love that pick. I almost went with it. The cyclical breathing that's required to play the didgeridoo is something that I have tried so many times, because how didgeridoo players do it is they have to breathe in through their nose while simultaneously breathing out through their mouth to be able to maintain that note without. Like, just try that for a second. Try to breathe in your nose at the same time as you breathe out your mouth. It is possible, but I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Right? Like, that's absurd.
What do I gotta breathe in?
Breathe in through your nose while breathing out through your mouth. It's called cyclical breathing, and it's how didgeridoo players play consistent notes without stopping.
Everyone at home just is like sitting at their computer.
An auditory experience.
Their family's like, "What are you doing? Stop that!"
Trying to play the didgeridoo.
Dude, I have a cold.
Step one.
Seeing if I could be a didgeridooist.
I have a cold.
Didgeridooer.
I have a cold, and just pretending to play the didgeridoo is kind of ruining my life.
Everyone watching just tried to do it, and Tommy said, "JL looks like a guppy out of water."
I can't do it, dude. I hate it. I hate that.
That's our goal for 2023. We all learn cyclical breathing so we can play the didgeridoo.
Dude, just breathing out alone, I don't even know how to do it. What do you do? Just go.
And Coop's like, I forgot how to breathe. Guys, a quick rundown of our teams. Coop, you have the first pick. You took guitar, violin, synthesizer, bongos, and cowbell. I had the second pick. I took the cello, the banjo, the harmonica, the harp, and the accordion. JL, you had the third pick. You went piano, drum set, saxophone, trumpet, and didgeridoo.
Yeehaw.
Oh, didgeridoo. No, you didn't.
Laugh track that.
Oh.
We have fun here. We have fun here.
You guys are great. You guys are great.
Guys, coming up, we are going to play a game called Feeling Lucky Punk, and then we're going to answer some questions from Reddit. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about third season, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right, he's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Dilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Oi! What's up, everyone? It's a double A on the comeback. Guys, this is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. It is January 26, 2023, a beautiful Thursday morning. We just wrapped up our musical instruments draft. So if you missed that, going back and check it out. Let us know what you think of our drafts. Who had the best draft? Clearly me. I don't know how you're going to beat harp, harmonica, and banjo, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to win against banjo, harp, harmonica, and cello is what you had?
An accordion.
An accordion. It's quite the powerhouse.
Now I'm just imagining if like we constructed bands using only the instruments that we drafted, who would have the best band? I think it's me by far.
We do that next. Our next week draft is drafting artists to play those instruments.
Just
for
building your own band, 100%. Guys, you can check that draft out over on our YouTube channel after this if you missed it. That's at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button when you head over there. We're doing drafts like that and all sorts of other games, like the game we're about to play, some Fantasy Fortune, some Fantasy Jeopardy, a lot of stuff over there. So you're going to make sure you're subbed to our channel. Check out what we're doing. And we're putting out clips and shorts from this show all the time that you're not going to want to miss either.
I know people would say that I should pick like a Jimi Hendrix or like a Gary Clark Jr. to play guitar, but I'm taking Slash. Slash me up, bro.
Well, guys, we're about to get into a new game we're calling Feeling Lucky Punk. John Luke, you want to explain how this game's going to go, and then we'll get into it?
Absolutely. I'm happy to explain the rules here. All right, this game. It's a new game. It's a new game we came up with. Simon and I were workshopping while we were together.
Yeah.
So each round, contestants are shown a challenge prompt. So the prompt, it could be a question, it could be a task, but it's a challenge. And there's some quantitative measurement scale that scales with difficulty. And so it might be something like how many of the top 12 quarterbacks can you name? And the contestants are going to go and are going to now then bid according to that scale. And they'll have the opportunity to go back and forth and bid up on each other. So they'll bid on the number of names that they can guess, confidently guess correctly, or the number of whatever the task is, whatever the prompt is. And if they are able to reach that bid, once they win it, then they'll be able to get all of the points for that round. If they are not able to reach that reach the number that they bid on and won, then all of the points are going to go to their opponent.
So as like an example, if you said, how many top 12 or 4-point per passing touchdown quarterbacks can you name without getting any wrong? And I say 6, and Coop says 7, and I say 8, and Coop says, I don't know if I can name 8. You got this one, Simon. I'm then responsible for naming 8 without getting one wrong. If I do so, I get those 8 points. But if I don't, Coop gets them, right?
Exactly.
So like there is if you outbid them, you then have to do the task to the number that you said you were able to. And if you fail, your opponent gets the points.
Your opponent gets the points.
Interesting.
And another rule here is if you're able to correctly guess beyond your winning bid amount. So let's say that you're able, like Coop names 10 instead of, even though his bid was for 8, you're gonna get an additional point for each of those items. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right, let's get into it. I think it'll be a little easier once we get started.
I'm going to close the chat in case there are any things like trivia style ones.
Good call. Good. And play along in the chat. Play along with us. Throw your guesses in there. We will praise you if you get it right, and we will make fun of you if you get it wrong. That's what we do here. Expect the same from you. All right, our first challenge prompt is, how many of the top 12 PPR running backs in 2022 can you name? Coop, we're going to start with you on this one for the bidding. What's your initial bid?
My initial bid is 5.
Initial bid is 5 from Coop. Simon, would you like to raise that bid 5? Would you like to bid more?
I think I can name 6. I think I can name 6.
6. All right, Coop, what do you think?
And 6 in a row without getting it wrong?
Yeah, I think if you get one wrong, it doesn't count.
Yeah, go ahead.
6. Coop choosing not to bid up on this prompt, meaning Simon, you won this one with 6. You have to name 6 of the top 12 PPR running backs in 2022.
6 of the top 12? Oh, sorry. I thought he needed to name the top 6 guys.
No, it's just 6 of the top 12. Oh, geez. Well, you want to bid up still?
I can. 6 of the top 12. Oh, sorry. I thought he needed to name the top 6 guys. No, it's just 6 of the top 12. Oh, geez.
I can. 6 of the top 12.
I thought he needed to name the top 6 guys. I can. We'll let him go. We'll let him go with 6. Let him go with 6. But we'll just let him in just to get this first example out of the way.
All right.
It's still going to count for points as long as I can get it. We'll see.
Should be
okay.
All right.
Now, JL, with the mechanic of if I name more, I get bonus points. Does that mean it's like a press your luck situation, though? Like if I get it wrong, like if the 7th one I name is wrong, I no longer get the 6 points?
No, but you do have to stop.
Okay.
Yes, as soon as you get one wrong.
Okay. Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler. Hold on 1 second. Austin Eckler is correct, Simon.
He'll be on there.
Okay. Christian McCaffrey.
Correct.
Josh Jacobs.
Correct.
I don't know why I'm getting so nervous now. I'm like on the spot and I'm panicking. Mr. 17 touchdowns, Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams is incorrect.
I thought he was top 12.
That's crazy. That's
I
why
could
it's
have
tough, man.
sworn he was top 12.
Now, do I steal or we just go into a different
You get the
category?
points. The points are yours because I said I could do 6 and I couldn't.
That's great.
Man, I feel like I could name so many more. Why did I go Jamal Williams as the 4th one?
Because
that I
he scored a
named off
million
the list?
touchdowns. You would think
He
that
scored
he'd be
17 touchdowns. I
He
thought
was
for
number
sure
13 in PPR. He was top 12 in non-PPR.
Definitely top 12
13,
standard.
one outside the range for me.
13.
Oops.
Sorry, Simon. Coop is going to get your 6 points on this one.
That's wild. That's
Okay,
tough.
I got it. 6
This
points
game's
for
tough,
Coop,
man. I was thinking that, like, I thought at first I thought it was name the top 6, and I just think back to Family Feud. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and try and name with only 1 meat bonk. It's hard enough with 3 meat bonks, you know.
3 meat bonks, yeah. Hey, I went back and forth on that.
I like this game.
Maybe we'll add in more. We'll see. Maybe we'll adjust the rules as we go. But
it's different rules because you're not trying to name the top 6. You're naming 6 out of 12. That shouldn't be too
right.
bad. I mean, and
that's a good point.
Well,
Simon
can change based on the prompt.
I'm confident Simon would have gotten it had he not gotten thrown off by a guy with 18 touchdowns that didn't finish top 12. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think Simon would have come right back and named a couple that were within the top 12.
It's all good though. It is what it is. And the beauty of this game is it could vary by prompt. You know what I mean? You could be without getting 3 wrong, name 6 or name as many of the top 20 PPR wide receivers. So it can all be in the question. We don't even need to adjust the rules.
All right, let's get into our next prompt here. Coop, you're up by 6-0 off the board. Your next prompt is, how many Madden cover stars going back to 2008 can you name?
2008.
Simon, you are starting the bidding on this one.
4.
4. Simon starting the bidding at 4. Coop, do you have a rebuttal? Tommy says 7.
This is tough, man, because I don't really play a ton of Madden. I buy like every other year. I guess I would do.
I'm thinking like educated guesses is what I'm going for.
I think I could do like. I think I could do. So is it Madden covers or players that have appeared on the cover? Because that matters, I think, for this.
It's the main cover athlete, is what I'm assuming here.
Well, 1 year I do know of 1 year where there were 2 guys on the cover.
Then you have to name both.
And to get 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, name both to get 1 point
from that cover because it's
from that cover.
By
if
cover.
If it's a combo cover, you'd have to name both players. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let Simon do it.
Oh, you're just staying with. You're not bidding above 4.
Going back to 2008. Fine. I'll go 5.
Okay, let Coop do it.
Okay.
And on the last one, Dustin said Jacobs, Eckler, CMC, Barkley, Chubb, Pollard, and Jamal Williams. The Jamal Williams would have got him too.
Would have got him.
Oh no! Let's see. Are the other ones correct though? I think the other ones are correct.
Is Pollard top 12?
Pollard is number 8.
Okay.
In PPR, Pollard's number 8, and Chubb was number 6. So that I think that is correct. Saquon Barkley's number 5.
Chubb would have been my next guy.
Well
Chubb
done.
would have been my next guy.
Okay, so
right, you're naming 5
for 5 Madden covers. I'm gonna go Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is correct. 2022.
Well, that's the thing about
and 2018 actually.
No, so I'm getting 2 on this one. 2018 is Tom Brady, and 2022 is Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, because they did a cover with both of them on it. That's why it was That's why I asked if there was because I remember Tom Brady and Mahomes were on the cover together. That's why I was like, is it
on the yeah, I guess that's right. I think that was the MVP edition though.
Oh, so it's a different edition. Okay, well then can I guess Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes is correct. In 2020, Patrick Mahomes is on the cover.
Okay. Give me Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson is correct. 2013.
Give me
That's 3.
Give me Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis is correct. 2012.
I would have
And
not gotten any of the ones you're getting besides Brady and Mahomes.
I own
You
the
need one more.
I owned the Peyton Hillis one, and he's been in the news lately. That's why I thought of him. One more for my list of players that have appeared on the cover of Madden. Does this year's count? John Madden being on the cover, or does it have to be players?
John Madden does count, and it is correct. So, Coop, you're going to get these 5 points. Do you want to keep guessing for extra points or no?
Dude, I should be able to name more, but I'm not going to keep guessing. I'm just going to take the points.
All right. You're going to take the points, bringing you up to 11. It's going to be 5 points.
I bet the chat is
Antonio
crushing
Brown,
it.
right? Antonio Brown.
Antonio
Odell
Brown,
Beckham.
2019.
I bet the
Odell
chat's
Beckham,
crushing these.
Lamar Jackson, I think, was on the cover of one.
2021. Yep. That was the.
How do I get Peyton Hillis, but I'm not getting Lamar Jackson? And
Beats me.
Those were
Jay.
my 3 and then I was going to take a shot on Tom Brady. Like my 3 where I knew Lamar Jackson, OBJ, Antonio Brown, and then I was going to say surely Tom Brady's been on one.
Jay,
Antonio Brown, 2019.
Eddie
you
George
go.
was on one, but that was like 2001. I remember that.
Jay said Eddie George, Marshall Faulk, Dante Culpepper, and Michael Vick.
I played
And none of
that.
those are on
I
my
played
list.
that Eddie George one into the ground, dude, in 2001 on the PS2. It was like the only game I had when it first came out. I played that game so much I can remember the theme song. It was like, man, get out my way and watch out as I come through. Busted in your line, cracking helmets in two. I bring the pain, so what you gonna do? Stand there and just get shook out your shoes. So clean out your locker. I'm out to get you because I just popped you. Can't take the pressure. Things on this field that you just can't change. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Incredible, Coop.
That's
Just
a-
pull that out.
Something.
That was
Unbelievable.
ludicrous, dude. Ain't no pride in the dirt. So I'll stop right now. Yeah.
Ludacris used to show up randomly
Oh.
at my rival high school's football games. Not our football games. They were always at our rival high school, but sometimes when we would play them, Ludacris would show up. I think he went to that high school. He's an Atlanta guy.
That's cool. Ludacris is sweet.
Because I
Ludacris is the man.
assume that's why he would show up at those high school football games. Otherwise, it's a little weird.
He's just
Justin said 5 would be my bid. Madden himself, Brady, Gronk, Hillis, and Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, I would not have given you the point because Barry Sanders appeared with Adrian Peterson in 2014.
It was a double whammy. So Coop now has 11 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Now has 11 points. Yeah.
But the good news about this game is I feel like that could be done in one round if, depending on the question, depending on how I go. Like it's not uncomebackable.
It's not uncomebackable. And actually, Dustin, I would give you actually, I don't know what the right answer is here because now Jay's saying Sanders is a special edition. The cover I'm seeing only has Sanders on it. So maybe I would have given you the point.
We'll see.
We'll
we
see.
won't, because we never have to make that decision.
Yeah, thank God. All right, well done, guys. Coop, you have a pretty nice lead here, but the game's not over. You guys ready for your next challenge prompt?
Let's do it.
All right, here it is. How many players are you willing to drop right now in your favorite dynasty? Coop, you are starting the bidding on this one.
How many players am I willing to drop right now? And I got to actually do it.
Yep.
In my favorite dynasty league, I could drop 2 players.
2?
I would drop 2 players. Yeah.
2 players. Simon, would you like to bid up Coop's bid of 2?
I'll drop 3. I'll drop 3 players from my dynasty team.
So here's the thing, bro. In my biggest dynasty league, I traded away. I'm like win now, so I traded away my picks. So like, I'm not even like dropping guys for draft picks. I would just be outright dropping them. So I gotta let you go ahead and drop those dudes if you want to pull that roster up. Because if I drop 3 guys right now, man, I would have to drop some good players.
Okay, let's pull it up. Let's.
I mean, you did win the bidding here at 3.
This
So you're
game
going to
is
have to drop 3 players.
I could have cheated. And I'll let the record show I could have cheated. I have this dynasty league with like Pete Overset and a couple guys where it's like it's like best ball dynasty where it's like super deep, and I could have dropped 10 guys in that league, but that's not my favorite. My most important one.
Yeah, on our system here, your favorite dynasty league.
In my favorite dynasty league.
So this is the backyard fantasy or the backyard football league that I have right here, Joe. You know how important this one is. This is a very important league. I now need to drop 3 players. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh God, now this hurts. Antonio Brown. I held on long enough. I waited for you. Drop.
All right, Antonio Brown.
You must renew your league in order to add free agents. One moment. Let me renew my league. Done. League has been renewed, and now I can drop Antonio Brown from my roster.
All right, Antonio Brown. Who are the other 2, Simon?
Oh God, I don't know who the other 2 are. Let me run through this. Let me
pull up your team.
Jameis Winston. It's a 1 quarterback league. There's no need for me to roster Jameis Winston right now.
All right.
I'm going to drop Jameis Winston. Here's Jameis Winston. So far, Antonio Brown, Jameis Winston, dropped. There's Jameis Winston off the team. I need to drop 1 more. Oh, do I want to give up on a guy like Velus Jones? Do I want to give up on a guy?
Hutton, Sky Moore.
You know what?
Juwan Johnson.
I got to apologize. I got to apologize to my Cowboys fans out here. This is a guy that I was excited about.
Just don't drop him and give me the points. I'm already crushing you. I guess actually you could easily get 11 points in one of these.
He's already dropped 2.
Yeah. What am I going to do? Not drop a third? Just
he drops 2, then he chickens out and loses the players and the points. That would be the
Devontae Turpin.
Oh,
Turpin was the 3rd one. No! What if he breaks out?
Simon, do you want to drop any more for double points?
Absolutely not.
Somewhere,
anybody else for more points.
Somewhere, I picture, somewhere out there, Dio Ledbetter's eating breakfast and a single tear. Oh no, sorry, Calvin Watkins, a single tear just rolled down his cheek and fell into his oatmeal as he dropped Devontae Turpin.
Jay said, Calvin. Can Simon pick them back up? Yeah, he absolutely can.
If I want to spend my fab on them.
For life. Yeah. But so can everybody else in the league. And Dustin said this is an amazing question.
I had to make some room for the rookie picks coming in anyways, but that hurts, man. That did not feel good.
Yeah. But you did it, Simon. You did it, and you're going to get 3 points for this.
Okay, now that I looked at my team, I easily could have dropped like 5 guys. Why do I have Grant Calcaterra on this roster? I could have dropped 6 guys right now.
Well, instead I got the points, Coop.
Congratulations.
Said you did.
All right, 11 to 3.
Let's get into our next challenge prompt here. How many of the top 12 PPR wide receivers in 2022 can you name? Simon, you were starting off our initial bid here. What's it going to be?
4.
4.
I could name 5.
5.
6.
7.
6. 7.
I'll let Coop do 7. I'll let him do it. If he does it, he probably wins this game. But if not, I'll swoop in and steal those points. And it's not that I don't think he can name 7. It's that I think he'll name one that's right outside before he names 7 correct ones. That's a lot correct without getting number 13 or 14 in there. Coop.
It is quite a few. I will start by naming the number 1 wide. This is PPR, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the number 1 wide receiver was Justin.
Point per is what the R stands for.
Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, number 1.
That is correct.
Number 2 was Tyreek Hill.
That is correct.
Now
looking at a phone down there, are you, Coop?
No, I'm writing the names down that I'm putting here.
I believe you.
Looking at a phone. Imagine that. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill. Those are the two that I knew in order. Which pretty lengthy order list. I do know that Tyreek Hill's teammate Jalen Waddle was like 8 or 9 because I just wrote an article about the Dolphins.
Is that a guess?
Yeah, Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle is correct. That's 3, Coop.
What
3
number
out of
was
7.
he on the list?
He was 8.
Okay. Give me Jamar Chase is on that list.
Jamar Chase is not on.
Oh,
this
he's
list.
not because he got hurt. Wow, because he got hurt.
Brutal.
7 points for Simon.
You know what? I'm wrong. Actually, Keith is wrong.
What?
Jamar Chase is on this list.
Oh, fuck yeah. Where is he?
He's number 11.
I'm alive.
He's tripping.
Dude, jeez, Keith. I almost accepted defeat. I live to die another day.
Live to die another day. That gives you 4 correct guesses here.
Yeah. I know this guy finished top 12 because everybody's been tagging me, and I already said I was wrong. Everyone okay? So shut up. Amon-Ra St. Brown finishes a top 12 PPR wide receiver.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is correct. It's number 7. That is 5 correct.
Oh, God, he's gonna freaking.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is number 4. That's correct. 1 more, Coop, and you will get these points.
I could have done this. I could have done 8. I'm such an idiot.
If you had done 8, you would have tied. You would have tied up. So now I just need to just name a.
Stop the steal.
A purveyor of fine catches within this football. Oh, Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is correct. Coop, number 3 on this list. You were going to get these points. Would you like to name any more for additional points?
No, he doesn't.
I might actually want to name maybe one more. Let me think about football.
It's going to be Coop.
You know what? I think that I'll just take the points instead of getting all crazy.
All right.
And Devonta Smith.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are both on this list. Yep. So is CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Christian Kirk.
Amari Cooper. I would have missed that one.
Mark Cooper finished, I think he finished like under 30 yards off his career high. He quietly had a very good year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did.
Now it's what, 18-3?
That's 7 points for you, giving you, a cool 18-3.
This is the first time we've ever played this game before, but now that we're playing it, it's like that number should have been 10. We should have, right? It should have been like 9 or 10.
In terms of what your bids were?
What our bids are, yeah. That one really should have.
Yeah. All right. We have one more prompt. One more prompt for you guys.
Tight ends. Do it.
Let's see, were there guesses in the chat on that one? Dustin said 7 is rough. Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Diggs, Lamb, Waddle, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And they said maybe Chase for 8. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nailed it.
Do top 20 tight ends.
Top 20 tight ends. All right, guys. Our last challenge prompt here. How many Buffalo Wild Wings flavors can you name? Let's see. Coop started, and then Simon, then Coop, then Simon. Now, Coop, you were starting again here. What's your initial bid?
So here's the rub. We actually only recently got a Buffalo Wild Wings up this way. So I've only been to Buffalo Wild Wings twice. So I think I can only name like 4.
4 is your initial bid? All right. Simon?
5.
Well, Simon, you need so many points. You need to be guessing you need to be bidding like 10 right now. I'm going to let you,
because I can just keep on going.
Oh, you can keep going. That's right. Okay. Well, I'll let you. I'm basically just going to name basic flavors. So I'm just going to let you play with 5.
All right. 5. 5 is the winning bid. Simon, you have to name 5 Buffalo Wild Wings flavors here for 5 points or more if you know more than that. But 5 is your winning bid. Go ahead.
Mild.
Mild is correct.
Wow.
Medium.
Medium is correct.
Hot.
Hot is correct. That's 3
Garlic
out of 5.
Parmesan.
I would have guessed buffalo and been out.
I will accept that. It's called Parmesan garlic, but I'll accept that.
Whoa. I'm just kidding. That's imagine I was like, no.
And so I have 4 now, right?
You have 4 now. You just need 1 more to get these points.
Oh, is this Buffalo
How
Wild
saucy
Wings or
can
is
you
this
get?
Taco Mac?
How
Is
saucy
this
can you
Buffalo Wild Wings or is this Taco Mac? I can't remember.
Taco Mac.
3 Mile.
Say it again.
3 Mile.
3 Mile.
Is that Taco Mac? Your reaction tells me it's not on the list, Jail. Instead of
That
acting
is
like I'm an
incorrect.
idiot, you could just say no instead of being like 3 Mile. What the hell are you
I
talking
couldn't
about?
hear you, so I wasn't sure if you. Like, I didn't want to say no and then realize that you had said something that I just didn't hear right.
That's
3
Taco
Mile is
Mac.
not on this
I
list,
knew
Simon. You will not get these
It was
points.
it was the unbelievably spicy one at one of those 2 places at B-Dubs or at Taco Mac, and I got it wrong.
You goofed, and there were much easier options for you to scoot these points here. Jay said hot mango habanero, garlic parm.
Dude, I just pulled up their website, dude, and there's enough sauces here for you to have won the game by a
There's
wide
26 sauces.
Yeah, I know.
I should have mentioned that. There's 26. Yeah.
I was hoping to get the easy ones and then just glide my way all the way to the end, but 3 Mile would have come up eventually, so we threw it out there.
Just looking
said-
at these sauces makes me want them so bad.
Jay said garlic parm, mild, Asian zing, medium barbecue, hot barbecue, and teriyaki. Yeah, I believe all of those are on this list.
Dude.
You also have lemon pepper, spicy garlic, orange chicken, jam and jalapeno, Caribbean jerk, Thai curry,
Jam and jalapeno. These
Nashville,
guys-
Nashville hot.
Dude, you should have
original
called
buffalo.
in. If you know that many, you got to call in. I just realized I have Asian Zing, Asian Buffalo Wild Wings brand Asian Zing sauce in my fridge right now, and I never would have named that. It's very good.
Well done, guys.
Caribbean
Coop, you are
jerk.
going to get these Simon's 5 points because he could not correctly guess 5. And that is going to do it for this game. Feeling lucky, punk.
23-3.
I like this game.
23-3.
Final score. This is a fun game. I enjoy this. And the only 3 points I got were the one where I dropped 3. So I lost.
You lost
28-3, and I had to drop Kavontae Turpin from my dynasty team. That was the result of this game.
Right? Yeah.
Guys-
23 to -3.
Coming up, we are going to answer some questions from Reddit, the most pressing questions that they have for us right now. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
The Baltimore Ravens and linebacker Roquan Smith have agreed to a record 5-year deal worth $100 million.
The biggest thing I saw from this wasn't even excitement from Ravens fans. It was, oh, shoot. If we're signing him to this big of a deal, how the hell are we going to sign Lamar to the kind of deal that he wants, is the general reaction I saw from Ravens fans. So the Ravens fans, and myself included, who thought, of course, they're going to re-sign him. 100% he's getting that deal done. This just crept in that little bit of doubt. Like, that is going to be an insane amount of their cap tied up in 2 players if they do sign Lamar.
Here's an interesting wrinkle to this is that Lamar Jackson famously does not want to use an agent. His mother is his manager, acting as his agent, so technically not really using a real agent. And Roquan Smith did not use an agent here. So the Ravens at least proved just now it's not the fact that he doesn't have a real agent that's holding this deal up, because they just signed a monster contract with a guy that represented himself.
It's baffling as a Ravens fan. Just looking at this as an outsider looking in. It's why are they having so much trouble signing Lamar Jackson? You're gonna have to pay him a top 5 contract or give him a top 5 contract in the position. And then on top of that, like, you're either waiting for him to get injured or to like get one over on him, which both of those don't really help you in the long run. So it's baffling to me that this is still an issue.
I'm telling you right now, I already said this. Top quarterbacks get $45 to $50 million a year. He's not using an agent, so he's saving that money there. Why don't you just take the 5% you would pay an agent, take the top money, 45, 50 million, whatever it is, subtract that, $2 to $3 million a year from the total. Boom, there you go. Done deal. I just negotiated the whole thing.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I almost just went full, like, singing along with the beat. You might have heard one little come through, but I was ready to go full and like just like going in. And then I realized sometimes you can hear me when I do that. Sometimes you can hear that. Guys, we were about to answer Reddit's questions. They always have the most pressing questions for us. So needy, but we're here to help them out. We're here to answer any of the questions they might have. John Luke, did you consult with them recently to figure out what they were asking?
I did.
Okay, cool. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
I really appreciate it.
Coop, you got any prompts for us today?
For what?
Now ask me.
He was like, I wasn't on Twitter.
I was on
You
Twitter.
were on Twitter.
Somebody said something mean to me, so I have to bury them.
Gotta defend the
wall. And then I will X out of Twitter once I finish this sentence.
Of course. So
These breaks need to be longer. We need a longer break.
The first Reddit question has for us today is, what's one thing you would treat yourself to regularly if money was no object?
Ooh, I know right away. I would be covered in tattoos if money was no object. The only thing preventing me from having full sleeves, full leg sleeves, a back piece is money. It is money and money alone that prevents me from doing that. If money was no object, I would have the sickest artist creating the sickest designs, and my body would just be covered in awesome tattoos.
You know, that's kind of two-sided too, because like for most people, not only can you not afford them, but you also need to have a job. And there's a lot of jobs where if you walk in with a tattoo on your face, they're going to not hire you. But if you have unlimited money, you don't need to worry about people caring if you have tattoos on your face, right? So you can just go crazy.
And the stigma. It's okay to have tattoos on your face.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah. And there's plenty of jobs that would hire you, but there's certain ones,
100%. I get what you're saying. If money's no object, that also opens up the freedom.
It opens it up. Yeah.
If I want to get a tattoo on my face, I now can get a tattoo on my face.
What would I do? So
the one I would get for sure, I've got a bald spot on the side of my head where there's no hair that grows. I'd get a lawnmower tattooed on there so that it was like cutting a patch. And then whenever I go completely bald, which will inevitably happen, I've got a lawnmower on my head. Like, it's done. Job finished.
Could you give me the phrasing of the question again?
Yes. What's one thing you would what's one thing you would treat yourself to regularly if money was no object?
Definitely servants. Servants 100%. Or just like I wouldn't do anything that I didn't want to do anymore. I'm never taking the trash out again. I'm never, if the remote is on the other side of the room, somebody's getting that for me. You know what I mean? I'd have a personal trainer. I'd have a personal chef. I would have somebody to argue with this dude on Twitter because I got to do the show. I would continue to do the show, obviously, but I would have somebody standing over here, kind of just like feeding me grapes. You know what I mean? So
what would you indulge in regularly? Is people serving you?
Absolutely. In every way. Yeah. Like mowing my lawn. That's what it would be. And buddies of mine would have trumped up job titles too, where they don't have to do anything, but they would also be getting part of this unlimited money. You know what I mean? Like I would have
Chief Blunt Roller,
dude, Chief Keef. I would have.
Was that Chief Keef who had that? Or Snoop Dogg?
I bet he would. A personal blunt roller.
One of them has a friend they pay like a full salary and benefits to. His only role is to follow him around and roll blunts whenever they need.
He just has the finest spit and the nimblest of fingers. Some dude that used to roll Cuban cigars, just rolling blunts for him. Yeah, I would have that. I would have it all. I mean, like unlimited money for sure. Like you guys would work for me too, and your job would be to do this show, and your pay would be unlimited money.
And do we have say in this?
I mean,
I'll take it if you're offering me
unlimited money.
The job is to.
I had that question queued up before you said unlimited money.
Exactly. I was gonna say here's your job description. Then you can decide. Your job would be to do whatever you were going to do anyway, and your pay would be unlimited money because I would have unlimited money.
Can I have a moment to think about it?
Yeah, think about it, dude. Think about it.
Let me talk to my girlfriend, see if it makes sense, and then I'll get back to you.
Yeah, she's offered a job.
Slightly less grand note. Coop was taking this the route of like unlimited money. What am I doing? I like
one thing, and Coop's like
I was
everything.
thinking, I would buy
one thing. Give me the blunt roller.
No, I
Give me
like
the blunt
it.
roller.
No, I like it. I like it. I think it's just different routes of taking it. It's just a different way than I was thinking. All of the fruit that I purchased from this point on out would be pre-cut. I am not buying whole fruit anymore. I'm buying the pre-cut pineapple. I'm buying the pomegranate seeds in the cup because that shit is expensive, but God, it's a pain in the ass to core a mango. Know what I mean? Like if I never have to prep my own mango ever again because money doesn't matter, then yeah, I'm not buying the non-cut mangoes. I'm buying that mango they already cut up for me.
Now I got to tell you the opposite side of that. We bought this like pineapple core. That's just a simple pineapple core, but my wife loves it so much. She thinks it's so satisfying to use that she goes out of her way to core. We always have way too much pineapple. And every single time she does it, she like calls, she's like, come here. And I go in and she's like, look at this. She holds up like the empty pineapple that's like been perfectly cut out. I'm like, yeah, I know. We've been eating pineapple a week for like a year. You show me every single time. Like, yes, it is cool.
That's hilarious. I love me some pineapple. I'm gonna go with a private jet because
awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to have to go through TSA. I don't want to have to go through security. I don't want to have to sit with all the peasants in economy, Southwest, who are always putting their seats back and farting in the planes. I don't want any of that. I want to go wherever I want to go, whenever I want to go, with minimal inconvenience.
And you hate the environment anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Who needs the environment when you have a private jet, Simon?
Yeah, it's fair.
Think bigger, man.
Yeah. Think bigger than the environment. Think personal plane.
Get your head out of your ass.
Dude, I love that. Personal. Oh, God. That'd be so amazing. I would be using it for, I would go full Elvis and just use it for the most ridiculous stuff where like he used to just fly to get like a PB&J sandwich.
Did you see Bert Kreischer? Like a while ago, he was on one of the Barstool shows and he was talking about how cool it is that people just hop on a plane and go international and grab dinner and then fly back. And he was like, we're going to do it one day. He's like, one day you're not going to know. My wife's going to book everything and then just going to call you out and say, show up here. We're going to have dinner and we're going to fly back. And he put out a video yesterday or the day before. He's like, boys, it's time. Check your email. There's round trip tickets. We're having dinner and we're flying back. I'll see you in Amsterdam. And then he just walks off, turns the video off.
I love that. And if money's no object, I'm gonna invest some of that money in a nice little electric engine. Something a little bit more.
Something to shut up the chat.
Yeah, just so Twitter stops yelling at me for being so
shut the chat up. Because one of those Twitter accounts would be like following JL's private jet around, but
the most interesting thing is just me going to Costa Rica 40 times.
With unlimited money, you could come up with some jet that actually like produces green energy. Like every time you fly it
shits money as it flies.
Yeah, everyone shut you
just
out.
All over the world. Everywhere you go, it's just raining coins. You cause destruction across the globe as metal projectiles just fly out of the sky.
Why am I going the coin route? Is that where my money is made?
It's just how planes work, JL.
I have a fortune, but it's all in quarters. All right. Well, I think we answered that for Reddit. Reddit's got another question for us.
What do they got?
What's an alcohol you won't drink anymore, and what happened the last time you had it?
Ooh. God, no. Ooh. Yeah, there's a couple of those that are on my list.
Yeah, I can go first here. What are they called now? Irish Slammers? Yeah.
Irish car bombs? Is that different?
Yeah. But that's offensive. So you got to say Irish Slammers now is the new name.
That's true. Sorry, I said the offensive.
Not offensive. It's just, I guess
it's offensive.
Sensitive. My 21st birthday, I went out to the bars. You'll be surprised to hear. Maria and I went out in Towson, which is where she went to school, and we were bar hopping, and one of her friends' boyfriends, great idea to constantly throughout the night purchase me Irish Slammers without telling me. And so I turn around and be like, hey, here's another one. Happy birthday. After about 4 or 5, I was done.
4 or 5 Irish Slammers will knock you down.
Quite
haven't had them since.
Mine, it's Fireball.
Oh.
And the reason it's Fireball, there's a couple. The one Jay said, there's 2, but Fireball's the first one. And what happened was freshman year of college happened the entire year.
there was a lot of Fireball consumed that year. It seems to be the go-to liquor of people who just started drinking is Fireball. And all of a sudden, all you're drinking is cinnamon whiskey with every single thing. It doesn't matter what you got to mix with it. You got Tang at the house, you're mixing it with Tang, or you're just taking straight shots of it. And now I had so much of that freshman year that even the smell of Fireball immediately initiates that gag reflex. It's game over when I just sniff that cinnamon whiskey. Can't do it, man.
That's I got it. It's me and Evan Williams green label from freshman year.
Got to go Evan Williams white label. That's actually a high quality bourbon for the low level bourbons. Evan Williams 100 proof.
Evan
white,
W.
EW 100. EW Hundy is actually one of the better bottom shelf bourbons. So I'm a pretty big bourbon guy. If anyone has any questions, hit me up.
Easy Abe said Admiral Nelson's.
Oh my God.
One of my roommates in college he definitely had a problem, and he would just drink Admiral Nelson's all the time. There's always a handle of Admiral Nelson's above the fridge, and it looked like it would just rip your eyebrows off.
That's actually that's basically who I was back then, dude. Easy Abe's goes, so you lived with Coop. Like we had
$5 plastic handle.
We had this guy that would hook us up with, when we were on the verge of 21, he would hook us up with Admiral Nelson's and like all
nearly over 21.
Uncle Felipe. Yeah, we were 21 in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, but everywhere else we might not have been. So
Connecticut.
Yeah, shout out Tropical Liquors. It doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, so he'd hook us up with that. But there's a different one for me. And everyone kind of has a story, but like when I first started getting into drinking, dude, I drank way too many screwdrivers one night. And which for those that don't know, that's just orange juice and vodka. And for me personally now, like when I did that, I couldn't even drink just orange juice for like a month. And I love orange juice. So now my personal policy is to have a separation of church and state. I'll do mimosas. I can do like orange juice and champagne, and I'll drink pretty much anything. I like to party, but I don't drink screwdrivers. Just don't do it. Can't do it. Got to keep them separated. I'll drink vodka. I'll drink orange juice. You put them together. I'm not doing it. I'm not ruining orange juice myself.
It's totally fair.
I've got one more, and it's a little bit more broad, and it's not a hard no. It's just something I should avoid. That is white wine. My last two experiences with white wine have both been negative, one would say. On my sister's 21st birthday, we went to an improv show. Me, my girlfriend, her, and her boyfriend at the time. And we watched the first whole show, and you could buy drinks in there. And I had a couple beers. My girlfriend and my sister split a bottle of wine. And then there was an after show, a second show that we wanted to go to. So they bought a brand new bottle of wine to split during that one. And then we decided we didn't want to stay. We were hungry. We wanted to get some food. So we went to go walk out of the Improv Comedy Club. And at the door, a brand new bottle of wine, corked. They would not let us walk out of the door with it. They said, you are not allowed to take that. It's against the law. You can't take that. We can't let you, even though we had just purchased it. And I had a couple beers, and that was really annoying because it was a $40 bottle of wine that my girlfriend had just bought, and they weren't going to let us take it. So being the responsible adult I am, I grabbed the bottle of wine from my girlfriend, I uncorked it, and I chugged the entire thing standing in the doorway before we walked out the door to prove a point to them. Oh, I can't take this. Watch this. And they looked at my girlfriend in the eyes while I was chugging it and said, I'm sorry.
And Simon died that night of high fives.
No, I died in a Waffle House bathroom is where I died. I then puked in a Waffle House bathroom while I was waiting for my hash browns.
Trevor Lawrence is like waiting outside the door to use the bathroom.
I said, come on, man. So white wine, I avoid it. That was not fun. That really soured my taste of white wine.
I could just picture, that must have gone one of two ways right after you did it. I like to picture you finishing it and just giving them a look like, how about that? Or were you like, I've made a great mistake. I've made a grave mistake.
In the moment, it was like finish the bottle, walk out the door. You know what I mean? It was finish the bottle, look at them, and we left. And I was fine for about 15 minutes. For about 15 minutes, I was good. I was feeling on top of the world. And then all of a sudden, I was not fine. So white wine off the table for me.
Wine drunk is different too. It's just
different.
Is.
It's a silly
very
drunk.
Different.
It's a
sillier drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay says Goldschlager, dude. Whenever I hear
You
Goldschlager,
said Jägermeister. I'm not talking about it.
whenever I hear Goldschlager, I picture my buddy being way too drunk, just going holding up a bottle of Goldschlager and going, "It makes my dookie twinkle."
Does it?
I don't know. I've never checked, but it does have like little gold flakes in it.
I know. I've never actually drank it. I've seen it. I know what it is, but I've never actually had
It
Goldschlager.
literally just tastes like one of your worst enemies in the Fireball. It's just fancy Fireball.
It's Fireball with gold in it.
Golden Fireball. It really is. I mean,
All right, guys. I have one more question from Reddit. Which cheap and mass-produced item is stupendously well engineered?
The chip clip.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect for what it does. It's perfect for what it does. It just solves that problem so well. Done. We fixed it. The chip bag problem solved. And you can't really improve on the chip clip.
I'll give you one that is a very legitimate one, is the Casio wristwatch. Like you talk about, which I think I have.
That cheap?
Here. It's to $20. This is $20, right?
It's pretty
this
cheap
here compared to this. And when you talk about like mechanical watches and like actual like fancy watches, some of them are like tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. This $20 watch keeps time better than any of those. It has stopwatch. It has the date, the day. Like this watch is technically better than, you know, $1 million Richard Mille watch because you don't have to wind it. You don't have to do anything. Like this is such an incredible device, and it's $20.
JL, you got
I like
one?
that. Oh man, the cheap part is really messing with me here.
It depends what cheap is, because like a chip clip is clearly cheaper than a $20 watch, but
Right.
you do a little more with this. I mean, I could probably even clip my chips with this, depending on how many chips are left.
I don't have an answer. I guess I'll go. Yeah, I don't.
Something. Pick anything.
This is gonna feel like a cop out, but I'm going with the juice cup.
A coffee mug. That's cheap and mass produced. That works.
Incredibly
It does its job well.
Every
It's got a
time.
handle and it holds the liquid.
You can put Goldschlager in there.
Reddit.
Yeah.
I hope we answered your questions pretty well today because we are out of time. That is going to be it for the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show today. We'll be back tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern for more Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show fun. Until then, though, stick around here on BSN. You got Moose and Keith coming up next, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru. And then you can go watch the Didgeridoo and Les Claypool videos while Corey Nando and Friends is on at 3 p.m. Until tomorrow morning, though, we are out of here. Thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you on another time.
Buonasera.